Okay.
Eureka.
And it's spent. Every day. Oh, welcome to the Real Fantasy Playmakers. I am your host, Bogart Scott Free, here with my esteemed colleague, the reigning champ, two-time champ of the GKL. You know what I'm saying? Oh, congratulations to everybody that took down the chip. You know what I'm saying? To everybody else that didn't take down the chip, put that chip on your shoulder and get back there next year. I'm in that boat. You know what I'm saying? I made a managerial mistake. You know what I'm saying? We'll get to it. You know what I'm saying? Straight out the gate. Shout out to our sponsor, Milk and Honey. Follow us at the GMM Network. Follow me at Bogart Scott Free World. Follow my esteemed colleague, The Goo, the two-time back-to-back champ, The Goo, at the Guru 408. Oh, let's get right into it. It's the recap. Week 16, Championship Edition. Oh, you know what? Fuck that. I'm getting right to my shit.
Hey, let's hear it. I know. Let's get it off your chest.
Okay. All right, Playmakers. So I lost by like an expectable margin. I say expectable because I went into Monday night. I knew my opponent had Aaron Jones, so I knew I'm gonna have to have some kind of substantial lead going in Monday night. You know what I'm saying? It's a super flex league. You know what I'm saying? My quarterbacks were Jameis Winston and Dak Prescott and Andy Dalton. And going through the thought process was crazy because of everything I had to do with, like, the whole Dak Prescott thing was crazy because, bro, like,
that one bothered you all week. You were like it was a conundrum for you. Like, we both feel strongly that, you know what I mean, go with the guys that got you there, but it's like with Dak's shoulder and that matchup, and then it just everything was screaming at Andy Dalton. Or like, even for me, I had Fitzpatrick, but it's like that's a hard call to do when all the chips are on the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then okay, so like when I'm going through the process of like a Prescott over like Andy Dalton, right? Where it was like you had the 1:30, you had the afternoon game versus the morning game, right? You know, this is West Coast time, Playmakers. So, you know, you had the 1:30 game and then the 10 o'clock game. And I remember on the show, our last episode, you know what I'm saying? Our last episode, we had done the episode. It was what was it? It was on a Thursday night. It came out Friday. So normally we would do our show Friday and have all the injury reports. So as it stood on Thursday night, Dak Prescott didn't practice at all, and he was questionable. So I distinctly remember, you know what I'm saying? I distinctly remember being on the hype where I was like, it would be so cool if they just kept him questionable all the way down, where I could make that decision based on, I don't want to play a guy who's 100%. I woke up Friday morning and he was completely removed off the injury report. And I remember saying this on the show before they had removed him. But I was like, I hope he just stays questionable because, and I brought up the James Conner thing with you on a Thursday night. You remember that?
Which was? No, I don't. Remind me.
Okay, remember when James Conner was waiting to make his return?
Oh, and they removed him from the report.
Yes.
And then he got hurt.
Exactly. And it was just one of those things. It's like you put in trust into what the tag is, or at least it makes you feel better about your decision. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, yeah, they're going to give him the cortisone shot. You know, there's all these things on the line for Prescott. You know what I mean? Like, or not even just Prescott, for the Cowboys in general. You know what I mean? Like, there's all these things. The division, they had the division in their destiny was in their hands. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna rock with that against a guy who's playing a bottom half of the league, or not even a bottom half, like a bottom of the barrel secondary in the Eagles, right? So now I could easily match that against Andy Dalton, where I could be like, okay, Andy Dalton's playing against like a worse secondary against Miami, but they have nothing to play for. Matter of fact, they should lose. You know what I mean? And then you couple that with everything every other excuse I'm trying to find to not play Dalton. Like, oh, it's supposed to be a strong chance of rain. Oh shit, Joe Mixon's been on fire. He might just run everything in. I'm going through all the shit. Then ultimately, I boiled it down to the receiving options. Like, who am I willing to die on? You know what I mean? Am I willing to die on Andy Dalton throwing at like Tyler Boyd and John Ross? You know what I'm saying? Or am I gonna go bank on Prescott with Cooper and Gallup? You know what I mean? And it was like I opted that. I opted that way. Even though me and you on the show, we were strong on that Dolphins Bengals game being a shootout and like going over, and you know what I'm saying? And then when with the rain, the weather scare, we was like, okay, we were just off that as a collective, me and you know what I mean? And like, it's just funny because, you know what I'm saying? Like my being a quote unquote disciplined fantasy manager, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not, first of all, I say quote unquote because anyone who knows me, I'm reckless as fuck. Like, I take calculated risks that other people would say is just crazy. You know what I mean? So in this case, I was trying to be as safe as possible. So watching Andy Dalton put up 350 and 4, I was like, okay, that's cute. You know what I mean? I was like, that's cute because Prescott didn't play yet. And then when Prescott's like, when we're into the third quarter, I'm like, wow, this guy has like 6 points on, you know what I mean? I'm like, damn. You know what I mean? It was a struggle. And then you pair that with like Chris Carson getting hurt. I was like, damn, the Of Course series is hitting me tough right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it sure did. That Chris Carson one, that did me in too in the East Side League.
Because he had 70 scrimmage yards, and it was like, the beginning, it was like the middle of the third quarter. You know what I mean? Like, he was on route for a big game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he left right before halftime or something like that, didn't he?
Yeah,
I checked out. I checked out at about halftime of that game.
He left before the half, but he had like middle of the third quarter. I mean, middle of the fourth. No, did I say third quarter? Middle of the second quarter. I'm sorry, I meant to say second quarter. Middle of the second quarter, he already had 70 scrimmage yards. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, he was on the way to a big game. You know what I mean? My bad. I totally said middle of the third quarter, didn't I, at first?
You did.
Yeah, because that's not... No, I'm just saying, because 7 points in the middle of the third quarter, I would be disappointed in him. You know what I mean?
That was an ugly-ass game. That was a smash spot for Seattle. They fucked me over. Fuck Seattle. You know what? That's what I get for putting all my eggs in a Seattle basket. Fuck Seattle. Sorry.
You know what's crazy?
I'm just bitter. I rolled out Russell Wilson, and I had Fitzmagic sitting on my bench. I'm just glad that it didn't cost me a championship. I was going to lose either way. But,
isn't that better?
Man, it makes it easier to sleep. It makes it easier. Like, if I had known, like, just doing that one move would have got me a win, I would have been tortured all off season.
You know what's crazy is that, like, I consciously was off Dalton by the time I got to Sunday morning. You know what I mean? Where it was like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, but everything else came down to the wire. I think you actually called me and we were mowing over some last minute decisions, like with like 5 minutes to spare before the first kickoff on Sunday. Right? And like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, you know what I mean? Like, there was no way I was looking at Dalton that morning. So it's like, I can't be upset, but I would have won by 5 points if I ran Dalton out. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to live in a shoulda, woulda, couldas, because that's just one of those ones that's like, that one, because I go, my process, it goes through like layers. And by the time I got to that final layer, You know what I mean? He wasn't in the variables. You know what I mean? So I'm not mad about it. And then, you know what I'm saying? You know, I remember a couple episodes ago, I was like, damn, this shit is crazy, that the fact that I have such a crazy team. There's only really one player that I really have to question every week, and that was Hollywood Brown. And then the one week where I said that on the podcast, it was wild card weekend in fantasy. It was the first round, and I was like, yo, you know what I mean? This guy, Hollywood Brown, you know what I'm saying? If I wouldn't even be looking at him, but he was playing the Jets, and it was a short week, and I was dying the whole time. Then he made do of his game. He got his touchdown and ended up getting a point over projection, which was cool. But you know what I'm saying? He was the thorn in my side. You know what I'm saying? This week, where it was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Oh, actually, it wasn't the wild card weekend. It was the semis last week where I rolled him out. And then it was like, okay, I was looking at several other options. You know, I went through the Chris Conleys of the world. I went through the Hunter Renfrows, the Alan Lazards. Those specifically. Hunter Renfrow, I immediately scratched them off my list because I was...
thought of you a second he broke that long one.
Yeah, but...
like, this son of a bitch, he did it again.
Exactly. And you know what's crazy?
Hunter Renfrow into existence.
I did, dog. And you know what's crazy too is I said it where it was like, but the reason I got off of him is because fantasy math told me, my fantasy math equated to him not having a full complement of snaps. You know what I'm saying? Where it was like, I don't want to roll out a guy with low snap percentage. You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially against the Chargers, who are a funnel defense, supposedly. You know what I mean? Where they're good against the pass, bad against the run, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Anyways, that's where I'm at. You know what I mean? I came second place in my high stakes league. You know what I mean? I take it with a grain of salt because there are so many different scenarios. Even there's a scenario where, you know what I'm saying? There's a scenario where, you know what I mean? I would have looked at Andy Dalton more, but it was just like, there's no way I'll get mad about it because there's no way I would have ever been like, I'm going to die with Andy Dalton. You know what I'm saying? Where it was
that was the same thing with my Fitz Magic.
And,
with him.
But see, here's the thing too, is like, we're going to get off of this after this, but not one, actually, we're not getting off of it. But
we're doing a whole show on this shit.
Oh yeah, but not one time did a motherfucker be like, I could win with Dalton. It was just, I'm not going to die with Dalton. You know what I mean?
Right. For sure. If you're going to die, you're going to die with your, your big time players.
And then it's crazy too because, I am an advocate of, roll with the guys that got you there. But I'm also a smart motherfucker where it's like, here's a guy who's not banged up and he's playing against the Dolphins, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? Where it's like, and that was what tore me up for 2 days, from Friday and Saturday. Cause I was like, I even went and called Nancy. Shout out to Nancy. I was like, bruh, why the fuck is he off the injury report? And you know what I mean? He was like, and that was probably the worst phone call to make because he's my resident. Yeah, he's my resident cowboy expert. Where it was like, he's like, nah, dog, he's gonna kill him and blah blah. I'm like, yeah. It's like I called him because I wanted him to tell me what I wanted to hear. You know what I mean? Because
he sure the fuck did, didn't he?
Oh yeah, and like, what's funny too is like, I'm in my lineup. You know what I'm saying? I have all these motherfuckers that like Jameis Winston. He was he's on pace. He was on pace to break the single season passing record. You know what I mean? I got Michael Thomas who breaks the single season reception record. Like, I have all these players that have all these intangibles. You know what I mean? Where it's like they're gonna play their ass off, all of them. And then the one intangible, not even intangible, the one fact of the matter where it's like the Cowboys need this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they need this shit, and you know what I'm saying? And then they got a fucking goddamn theme song. They got a goddamn theme song that's made by a goddamn Pittsburgh Steelers fan. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're just all confused over there. You know what I'm saying? It's just so much fucking. It's just funny to me, dog, because I did it to myself again. And you know what? Too is like, look at me and you. We're in the Super Bowl. You just went back to back, right?
I did. That's correct.
Last year you defeated me in the Super Bowl, but no matter what I could have done, I wouldn't have won. So I felt great. You know what I mean? And in this case, it was just like, damn, there was the possibility there, but I can't really be mad because I stand like 10 times out of 10, I'll do the same thing. Like I'm just too wired that way.
I think I'm learning. I learned from this that even in the championships that like
it's just another week.
No, it is, but like divisional matchups, like that. Let's just say like the Cowboys-Eagles game, like
it should have been. It was going to be a low scoring game. It was going to be a low scoring game. Yeah.
And even like with the like the Arizona-Seattle game, like it's not the same kind of thing, but like even though you look at tonight's
it's just divisional. It's divisional.
Divisional games are always tough, and like I wish I had the foresight to just say like, man, Cincinnati-Miami is a trash matchup. But it's going to be no defense and no fucks given in that game. So they're just going to be all like there's nothing to lose. And when you play with like there's nothing to lose, that's when there's points put up. When you have everything to lose, you start playing conservative. You start playing like this bullshit. Like
and then
the Vikings were a joke tonight. They were an absolute joke.
Like when you ask me, you know, bro, I'm thinking about Wilson. I'm thinking about Fitzmagic over Wilson, and it's like. You know, me being your fellow playmaker, it's kind of hard to tell someone in their Super Bowl, like, yeah, hell yeah, dog. You know what I mean? But it also didn't help that, you know, that Russell Wilson was playing against the Cardinals. You know what I mean? Where it's like
a smash spot in all theoretically.
Yeah, but you know what's a bitch too? It's like you look at Russell Wilson's past 6 weeks, or you look
shitty.
Yeah, or you look at his year now. 15 games, is it? 15 games, he only has 6 QB1 performances.
Russell Wilson?
That's it. Just 6 of them.
None of them came in the last.
No, they all came. They all came in the first 7 weeks of the year, where everyone was talking about he might be the MVP.
Yep, and it's like right when I traded for him, I got him after that Tampa game, or after the Niner game, I think.
So you had him right. You got him right before the bye week.
Right, and I didn't have him for that Niner game, and then I had him for the bye week, and then I had him the rest of the way, and he never put up a score over 21, which was actually last week. So he put up scores of 11, 18, 10, and 11. I mean, my God, that's brutal.
I know, and you know what's crazy is Prescott putting up 13 points for me in our scoring format. Less than other people's scoring format. Like, he put up like 11 in other people's scoring format. Right?
Yeah, that's brutal.
And you know what's crazy, bro? That's Dak Prescott for years.
Yeah, safe, conservative.
This is the first time he's been fantasy relevant to Bogard standards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's playing for that contract early.
Yeah, and you know what's funny, dog? They're not going to give him any type of sniff of what he wants.
You don't think so?
No, I actually think they franchise tag him. Listen, this is an extremely poorly run organization. Am I correct?
They've gotten better over the years.
Extremely poorly ran.
I think Stephen Jones is better than Jerry Jones.
Stephen Jones still came from the testicle of one Jerry Jones.
That is true. Factually correct.
I do not put any of the fuck shit past. You know what, dog? I was talking, like I said, I fuck with a shout out to Nancy and Jasper. Shout out to McFly. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a thread with them. I have no business in this thread, but we've been in this thread, the three of us, for years. And we really just talk Cowboys. I'm a Niner fan, but I love, like, it's like I had the great dynamic in that thread because I could tell them how it is. You know what I mean? And in this case, I'm glad I'm in that thread because I'm just shitting on Prescott along with them. You know what I mean? Because they are upset with him. You know what I mean? And then they're also upset with the coaching, the play calling, everything as a collective. You know what I'm saying? So check us out. I tell them like this. You know, they're like, oh, we need to fire the coaches. And I go, Jason Garrett's been dead for a decade. It's a fucking state-of-the-art robot cyborg fucking programmed and ran by Jerry Jones. He's been coaching this team this whole time. We don't even fucking know it. You know what I mean? What does he do? What does Jason Garrett do at most? Claps his hands. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's a fucking robot and he's programmed for nothing.
They're going to have Ron Rivera there next year.
I like that, though. But Ron Rivera won't be there for long if he can't win one season. Because he's the type of dude, I think he's no nonsense. He's a player's guy. He will stand up against the ownership.
That won't work. That out there.
Nope. That's why Jason Garrett remains there. Plus, Jason Garrett tried to speak up 10 years ago, and then Jerry Jones had him killed and cloned. And now it's... okay.
Had him killed and cloned.
Okay.
Love that. So Jason Garrett is a clone. It's not the real Jason Garrett we've been watching.
No.
That makes sense. He's been pretty emotionless all the last, 5 years at least.
Yes. Tell me I lied.
I cannot call you a liar.
Okay. Hit me with the first game, Goon. Let's get to the Saturday. Let's get to this goddamn Saturday.
I just want to, before we get to that game, I got to come out and I got to congratulate the professor on taking down the Eastside League. He did defeat me. He did get gifted CMC after week 2.
Yo, that was some fuck shit.
It was, but you know what? That's not his fault. I can't blame him
Who
for that.
the fuck, after 1 week, is disgruntled that much with CMC? Like
somebody that's lost their damn mind.
Or somebody that's homies with the motherfucker. And Rob, shout out to you, Rob. But I'm going to tell you this much. You're a champion. You've only been a champion being a co-champ, as far as I'm concerned. Because that's as long as I've known you, being a reigning co-champ. So what is this? You're like, I'm going to give you CMC, and then your team's mine. As long as you're doing good, I have credit. Listen, fuck that shit. No one trades away CMC.
No, they shouldn't. And yeah, I mean, his team was good to begin with, but then getting gifted a CMC just really.
Yo,
did
what the fuck? Like, what did he lose? What do you remember?
He did give up a Kittle. I mean, he did give up. I don't know. That's the big piece, but. You know, he did make moves like picking up a Tannehill. He did draft a Michael Thomas.
No.
So
I'm just saying, what did Rob receive? He gave up Kittle and that's it?
No, he got a couple other players, but it was a bad deal, period. But it's not the reason why he's the champion. That's all I want to say. Like I told him in the thread.
Listen, yes, it fucking is.
Someone
has a 30. An automatic
to let a fish keep his money.
An automatic 30 to 35 burger a week. That's what he gave him.
He sure the fuck did. And you know what? Rob is white. How he could trade another white player for nothing, I don't understand. But it was to another white owner, so maybe.
And CMC is like the god to them. He's the unicorn at running back. You know what I mean? He's the one white running back. You gotta go search far and wide and find Zach Zenner or some shit. Or like dig up the corpse of Danny Woodhead to be like, all right, there you guys are. Because they don't fucking exist.
No, he's the one. And, it was, Rob, I know Rob. I've known him for a very, very long time. He's just awful now when it comes to sports, but especially fantasy. He's I'm not going to take anything away from the professor's title.
Well, congratulations to Professor and co-manager Rob.
Rob gets a little piece of the title for sure. But you know what? I'm not mad. I did lose. It was a little painful. But you know what? I'll be there again next year. And that league is designed to keep fuck motherfuckers out of the championship. Those fly by the seat of their pants owners, like you say.
So they gotta combine their teams. Like, hey, here, take CMC.
Yeah, I mean, it was after week 2. We didn't know he was going to be this guy the whole year.
Yes, we do.
Nah, I wouldn't say we.
Okay.
Yes, okay. I'm trying
Listen,
to be.
We're talking about Christian McCaffrey here, bro.
You're right. He was my number 1 pick going into the year. So I get it.
He was my number 1 pick also. Like, come on, bro. Like, I love Zeke. I had Zeke as number 1 until all that fuck shit holding out, and it was like, okay, because I couldn't come to bring. I was almost like looking for any excuse for me to not put Zeke at number 1, and you know what I'm saying? Because it was CMC all the way. Even matter of fact, I lost to a CMC team in the chip, and it's funny because. You know what I'm saying? I almost want to talk shit to the number 1 pick overall because he went and got Saquon Barkley. And it was like, how the fuck are you going to get Saquon Barkley? Oh, only because he was the number 1 running back, huh? Like, not like looking at the situation with possibly Daniel Jones coming in or the offensive line. Or the fact that no one ever repeats a year like that on a trash team. For example, Joe Mixon in the AFC last year was a good running back on a trash team. In the NFC, it was what's his name? Barkley. Barkley's on a trash team. These things aren't average occurrences. You know what I mean? Let alone repeating 2 years in a row. If you remember, I was like, I have Saquon out of my top 5, like finishing. You remember that?
Did you?
Oh, yeah. And then I wanted to get even bolder, and I was like, in non-PPR, he's outside of the top 10. Granted, I was totally correct because of the injury, but it's like his past 2 weeks probably made up for like all those weeks he missed. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. He'll be. I mean, I was kind of torn between him and CMC, but I was leaning on CMC more early in the year, but yeah, he went wild, man. And it's funny because the team I won had CMC, the team I lost to had CMC, the team that you lost to had CMC. Like he was the guy this year to bring home the bacon. You know what I mean? In that Eastside League, though, I do want to say Anthony Miller. He can go fuck himself. He's not getting a Christmas card. Mike Boone, Chris Carson, James Conner, Kerryon Johnson, Deion Lewis. None of you guys are getting Christmas cards this year, okay? None of you. No, Darren Waller, the big baller. I do love him, but no, I'll send him a card. He got me there. I'll send him a card. But
Hunter Renfro is not getting a card, is what you mean? Because he came in and just fucked it all up for Waller.
Russell Wilson. Now we're done. We're done here. I don't know.
Listen, Russell Wilson, you fucking Uncle Tom. Listen and listen close. We're going into Seattle and we're fucking you. We're sodomizing you and fucking your bitch. How about that? Fuck Russell Wilson.
We want them goodies.
Fuck Russ. I don't even want the goodies. I just gonna take them. I'm hand them off to my goons.
That was a Sierra pun.
Yeah, I know. I don't even want that. I don't want that shit. I don't want that shit. I'm gonna take that shit, hand it off to my goons.
I like that. Well, you know what? It was a successful year, all in all.
Oh yeah, great fucking year.
I think hopefully I just did enough to secure my diamond status. You know, that's really what I've been trying to do. But I mean, fuck that. It was a wild year, bro. Your boy took home 4 titles this year.
Mm-hmm.
I got one week 17 matchup next week, and I mean, it was a good year, but that one L is kind of hurting right now.
Mm-hmm.
That one L.
Yep.
All right, let's get to these games. We can break these down for a minute before we.
Hold on, real quick. Shout out to all you playmakers. We had simple. My bad. I just didn't mean to cut you off. This is one last thing.
Oh, you're good.
We had a couple simple milestones that we wanted to hit, and one of them was getting the 1,000 followers on the IG. Follow us at the GMM Network. We got the Thou Wow. Fucking, it was amazing. You know what I mean? Like, we barely started that shit like in September. You know what I mean?
We got the 1,000.
Oh yeah.
Can't stop it. And you know what? Which is just year one, baby. Next year is gonna be even better.
Oh yeah.
Mark my words.
It's only the fucking beginning.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh man.
Okay.
All right.
Let's get to the Saturday game, Goo.
Yeah, your boy Infamous.
You mean
came out.
You mean famous Jameis? Nah. He's infamous. He's infamous. Because he came out more infamous than ever.
He stuck to the script. He came out and threw the pick six on the first drive. He tried to do a double down on the second drive.
Bro.
That game was horrible. That game was bad.
Bro. For the life of me, first of all, I'm taking a shower because I'm behind schedule like crazy that morning, right? Because I'm trying to do my Sunday morning routine on a Saturday, right? I'm behind schedule, but I'm in the shower. The game's already started. I got it on my phone. It's playing. I'm watching it through the glass door. You know what I'm saying? He throws the pick six, bro. I go crazy. Whoa, shit. Oh, shit. Bro, it was fucking like, I was like, oh my God, here we go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the shit that I was accustomed to, the shit that made him infamous all year. And then he just went back to regular famous Jameis. It was just like, but also it was like, this is why I say he's still infamous, is because God damn, he had no weapons. And yeah, he had Perryman. And you know what I'm saying? And I think I even remember telling you at one point, you know, he had overthrown Perryman in the end zone. And I was like, damn, you know, he was throwing it like it was still like Mike Evans or Godwin, like, you know, bigger receivers. Even though Perryman's actually, he's 6 feet. He's not a small.
He's kind of big. He looks pretty big.
Yeah, and he got speed, but he's not a Mike Evans 6'5", you know what I mean? Fucking, 5 foot wingspan, you know what I mean? Like, crazy shit, you know what I'm saying? Or 6 foot wingspan even, if I remember correctly.
He's 6'2".
Yeah, okay, Perryman.
Yeah, 6'2".
Yeah. Yeah, but he's
not small, but
he's also not lengthy, like arms wise, because Mike Evans, his wingspan's like 6 feet for real. Like he has like 3 feet long arms, like for real. Like he's crazy. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But either way, that was the excuse I made for Jameis. I was like, he overthrew the fuck out of him, but normally that's like a catch. That's like in the radius of someone like a Mike Evans. You know what I mean? Where it's like, come on, famous, adjust your shit. But then again, too, then it's like he makes an incredible read, an incredible pass, threading through traffic, and you know what I mean? But then he just goes and throws a complete blunder pick. You know what I mean? Where it's like, and then as the game progressed, you know what I'm saying? As the game progressed, it was a bitch because it was like, damn, I said it on the podcast. I'm like, they better not come out. Bruce Arians better not come out like we're missing weapons. We're just going to try to emphasize this run. Because that's what the fuck they kept trying to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they sure did. I mean, they being down those two guys, Godwin and Evans, like, yeah, it was kind of like you saw it coming a little bit.
Yeah, but as far as like matchups for like Brate and OJ Howard, you know what I'm saying? They had phenomenal matchups where it's like they could have ate, and it almost seems like they weren't really a part of the game plan. And then even when they got to the second half, the way Jameis looked, I was like, dang, he's not taking any shots further than like 10 yards. And then he would eventually take a big shot, but it would be like, on a 3rd and long scenario where it was like, okay, it's coming. You know what I mean? Where like the defense knew it was coming. Whereas like, damn, he's not trying to stretch the field at all. Like that was crazy. Where I was like, damn, he's hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the whole squad was pretty hurt. It was an ugly game for everybody to watch. Even Deshaun Watson, man, like
yeah, we're getting to that side right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was just trash all around. Like, I rolled Deshaun Watson out in the GKO, and that nearly cost me, bro. That nearly cost me. He put up, like, 11 points.
Yeah, but also, like, you know what fucked him up is, like, going up against I think it was the 30th ranked secondary. You know what I mean? Against the Bucks. It's like you think, like, first of all, this one motherfucker, this god awful piece of shit, Will Fuller. You know what I'm saying? Of course, he left the game and fucked several fantasy owners. Not me, because I would never bank on that god awful Will Fuller. But, right, Nuke Skywalker, my man Nuke, I have no quarrels against him. It was
not even after a 5 for 23.
No, because you know why? Because I almost just respect Todd Bowles. Like, he's back. Like, it took him 15 weeks to whip that secondary into shape, and they proved it to me because they had 2 chances against the Saints to prove it to me, where it was like, if you could somehow limit Michael Thomas, Todd Bowles, you're back as a coordinator. You know what I mean? Because he got that run defense being number 1 since week 2, where a stupid fuck couldn't realize that, oh, CMC's playing against a nice run defense, a real good one. He's like, no, I need to get rid of him. It's CMC. No, it was that fucking run defense, and it did it to everyone all fucking year. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, with that said, that pissed me off too, because here's Bill O'Brien, here's Bob talking about, oh, we're gonna run like shit with Carlos Hyde. What the fuck was that? Like, why are you trying to continuously run against the number 1 run defense and not even try to rip off play action either? You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna try to enforce the run,
I love Bob.
Fuck Bob. And then, you know what I'm saying, you had Watson. This is why I'm not mad at Nuke Skywalker. Because not only did they double and triple him, or like play man, and then, or look, they show man coverage, and then, move over a safety to help, and shit like that. They were doing that to Nuke all day. But, like, there was 2 plays specifically. One, Nuke hit a double move, and Watson was already dealing with whatever injury he had. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then, like, it's the back. It was the right ankle, or maybe Achilles, right? That's what he kept grabbing at it.
Yeah, that ankle.
Yeah, but it's fucked up because that's the leg he's gonna plant on, and then and get all his inertia. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You didn't think I knew that science, huh?
I was just gonna say, great, use of the word inertia.
Because you're gonna drive all that energy from when you're dropping back, and then you plant that right leg because he's right-handed, and then you boom, and then you get all your energy and inertia. All your inertia goes from your right leg all the way into your shoulder, and then plants onto your left leg as you release the ball in whatever.
Would that make his hips the fulcrum point?
Oh, exactly, because that's the middle point.
You didn't think I knew that, did you?
Yeah, I didn't think you knew that, and I didn't think I knew that either until you said it. I was
You know what? We are a diverse show here.
We're fucking fantasy scientists.
Now, we're gonna launch the off-season science show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Right here on the GMM.
Yes. Stay tuned. Coming this season. 2020.
All right. So that game was a really rough start to my fantasy Super Bowl, as I had Watson and Hopkins both shit the bed.
No. But you had Perriman, dog.
He got it late, but that's in a league where there's no 100-yard bonus. I mean, he did give me 14.
Greedy fuck.
Hey, I believe in the 100-yard.
First of all, anyone.
I wanted the touchdown. First of all,
bonus leagues suck. Play DraftKings if you want a bonus.
I disagree with you. Bonus leagues for 100 yards. I'm a big fan of that. So that's a big milestone. The 100-yard. Just that number has always been something that means something to me for some reason. I mean, what's the difference? Why you give a bonus for a first down?
It's not a bonus.
It is. You get a point. You don't, no
Half
other league
point.
gives you points for first down.
It's
You're
the
only
same
league.
thing as getting a point for a reception. I can argue that.
Not really.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't mind it. I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. So, but I'm just saying, it's like everyone has their things.
Yeah.
But I like the 100-yard bonus because you know why? Because the like over the course of a long year, a guy like a DeAndre Hopkins or Julio
Or Lamar Jackson, who has 500-yard rushing games on the year.
You just exactly like that's like those are not flukes. Those are not flukes. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm a fan of it. It doesn't. It just gives you It just gives you something because then like those guys that get all that like fluky bullshit, it cancels out. Like guys.
How many times
like,
in the East Side League have you lost because of a bonus?
I've never ever looked at that or even like I can't even tell you because I don't look at it that way.
How many times can you remember winning because of a bonus?
None. Never. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I rest my case.
I guess. I don't know where else.
We are also fantasy judges and lawyers. We are fantasy lawyers.
Yes.
Right here on the GMM network. Okay.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Do we have to talk about? Oh yeah, we do. The Bills game. We have to talk about the Bills game because first of all, I want to apologize to my man, Downtown John Brown. I told fantasy playmakers to not start him, but also it was just because I was doing the correct fantasy math. I wasn't going to let no one play themselves like that against Stephon Gilmore. But goddamn, John Brown.
I mean, his whole day was one play. It was a big play.
That's all I needed. Hey, standard playing motherfuckers, that's what they look for.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they ain't looking
For sure.
They're not looking for the dude, bro. In standard, oh my God, Nuke Skywalker killed people.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like I can't really be mad at myself for that, but I just love Downtown John Brown. You know what I mean? Like I fucking love he's just one of those guys that makes this season so great for me because I've just, he's one of my guys I rode for years. I ride for Downtown John Brown. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's your boy since day one. I'll give you that.
Since the Cardinals even, you know what I mean? He was...
Oh, yes.
I've been starting him for years, bro.
Yeah, no, he's been that guy. Even I think last year when he was in Baltimore.
Yeah, and when he went to Baltimore, I was like, fuck yeah. Because I know an excessive amount of information on a player that's unnecessary to a degree until it becomes necessary. Like for example, Downtown John Brown, he got sickle cell. You know what I mean? So him and it wasn't like he was diagnosed. He wasn't aware of him having sickle cell all his life because you're born with it, right? But I guess it can get worse over time or some shit like that. Or matter of fact, the doctors probably didn't notice he had sickle cell until he got to Arizona. Because as soon as he got if you remember John Brown in 2015, he had this might be one of those things you might want to check while I'm waxing poetic. But if I remember correctly, he had a 1,000-yard season as a rookie underneath Bruce Arians. You know what I'm saying? Where it was this guy is opposite Larry Fitzgerald, so he's gonna get a lot of work. You know what I mean? And this was before they started predominantly putting Larry Fitzgerald in the slot. So it was because back then they would have Michael Floyd on the outside, John Brown on the other, and then Larry Fitzgerald be in the slot. And that was that was how they eventually played it. But then when Michael Floyd got hurt that year, and then Downtown John Brown, he wasn't even downtown yet. He was just regular John Brown.
He's just John Brown. He did put up 1,000 yards, 1,003 yards to be exact.
Right? And I remember they got into the playoffs, but they had lost Carson Palmer to the ACL a couple weeks prior. They lost to the Panthers in the first round, and it was crazy because here goes downtown John Brown, and I remember Larry Fitzgerald was hurt that game, so it was like, yeah, downtown John Brown, just like he was the only option. I had been on him all year that year, and I was like, I fucking love this kid. 2016 comes around, he has a quad, and he just has it all year. And then they find out he has sickle cell. And then I started doing more research on sickle cell, and it turns out when you're in high,
you can't play in Denver, basically.
Yeah, or Arizona, because Arizona got stupid high elevation.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So if you have a regular injury, and first of all, if you have sickle cell, you have a regular injury like a quad, a soft tissue injury. It might be like 4 to 6 weeks. Yo, this shit will be like 2 months. 2 months to maybe 2.5 even, you know what I mean? Like maybe it could even be season ending, you know what I'm saying? Then you couple that with being in high elevation. So like now to bring it full circle, when downtown John Brown, when he 2017, it was another bust year. He dealt with the quad that whole year again. Then you get to and he played like 3 games that year. Then you get to 2018 and he gets released. He gets picked up for 1 year, and he goes with Joe Flacco, who has a legit big arm. And they're in Baltimore playing at sea level. And I was like, yo, it's downtown John. And that's how he got the name Downtown John Brown. Because that's all they ever did with him. They knew they can just bomb it to him. And then it's crazy because I was also upset, like, man, they're not using him like in his full facet, like in every facet, because he could run routes. He doesn't just have the 9 route or the go route. Like he could run the route tree. Maybe not the best, but maybe because he never got to practice it in real time. You know what I mean? They're just making him run the go route down the sideline. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like, yo, so that's how I dubbed him the name Downtown John Brown, because they just highlighted that facet of his game. When I remembered back in Arizona, Bruce Arians, they had him doing all kind of shit. Same way, once he got to Buffalo, you know what I'm saying? It was like, yeah, I expected it. Everything I saw this year, I expected it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he put up a career year. Most receptions, yards, fell 1 touchdown short. He scored 6 this year. So yeah, he showed up this year.
Oh yeah, I love you, Downtown John Brown.
All right, let's see. So what anything else on that Bills Patriots game?
Fuck Sony Michel, right? Who else? Yeah, and fuck the Patriots too. Because if the Patriots would have just fucking lost, just take a L, motherfuckers. You know what I mean? There would have been a strong possibility the Ravens wouldn't have had to play, and I wouldn't have had to deal with Lamar Jackson.
Oh, that's so interesting.
It's the truth.
You think they would have sat him?
Fuck yeah. Lamar Jackson's been nursing that calf, and we even saw it yesterday.
We did.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he was gimpy all game. Like, he would take a hit. He would have a nice run. He would limp. Whether it was for show, if it was for show, well, good show, old man. Bravo. You know what I mean? But he's hurt. Like they already ruled him out for next week. They're sitting.
Well, everybody's sitting over there. Their whole team is going to be sitting probably.
Yeah.
Because they have nothing to play for. So
exactly.
They get 2 weeks off. You saw Mark Ingram went down over there.
Yep. Because he's that god awful Mark Ingram. No, but hold on though. Fuck the Patriots, you bitch ass motherfuckers. You couldn't just take the L, and then I would have got off of Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Yeah.
That was a tough one.
Okay, let's go to that Saturday night game. Our Niners.
Bang bang Niner
bang
game.
Bang Niner game.
Woo! Yeah, game. Both knew that it was going to be a dogfight, and the Rams were playing like their life was on the line. You know what I mean? But the Niners, man, they just pulled it out. Let me see. I'm pulling up the numbers here. Jimmy wasn't great. The running game wasn't great, but the defense was pretty solid. Kittle showed up. You know what I mean?
You know what's fucking annoying, dog? Is like mid-game. Like, I don't look at social media when I'm watching these games. Okay? I don't even turn to social media to like express my fucking emotional thoughts ever. Like, ever. You know what I mean? So it pisses me off when, like, I know a lot of, like, Niner fans, right? I know our fellow Niners, maybe not our fellow faithfuls, but I know a bunch of Niner fans, and they want to go and shit on Jimmy G all day, like he's supposed to be some kind of god. Listen, Jimmy G is a handsome schmuck, and that's what he is. You know what I mean? He's legit a system quarterback. You know what's funny is, like, people want to say they expected him, like, especially Niners who don't know shit. They expected him to be Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady hasn't been Tom Brady that we know of until about what? It's 2007?
Did you say since 2007?
Yeah, because remember 2007, that's when we know the Tom Brady that we know of now. A 4,000-yard outing type of quarterback.
I'd say it was a little more recent than 2007.
Bruh, do you remember, like, his earlier years? It was a team effort.
He was trash.
Yeah.
Or he was more of a game manager, I should say.
Exactly. So isn't that the stage that young Garoppolo's in? Like, he's a system quarterback. I love what he's doing. I hate it when people get mad and they're like, Jimmy needs to do better. And yeah, well, what about when we have two 3 and 16s on the same drive? You don't teach intangibles. He got it.
What'd you say? We got 2, 3, and 16s?
We had 2, 3, and longs. 3 and 16.
3rd and 16? Like
yeah.
Plays?
My bad. I was saying it wrong. Yes, 3rd and 16.
I'm trying to understand. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because it sounded a whole lot like 3 and 6 teams. Yes.
He converted a couple of them.
In the same drive to win the game. What more can you add? Like, I don't know.
Niner fans who are hating on Jimmy G are not, like,
real Niner fans? Or they don't know what they're talking about?
Very, very likely. There's a lot of people that watch NFL who don't know jack shit.
I also can't stand quote-unquote faithfuls who, like, push people off their season tickets.
Oh. There it is.
Yeah. And it's not.
There it is.
Yeah. Motherfuckers. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Winning brings out the bandwagon in all of us.
Mean all of them?
I wanted to be corrected there.
Yeah, okay. George Kittle, shout out to Jorge. You are the fucking shit. I'm so upset. I feel like I let Jorge down that I didn't bring home the title with him on my team.
He's wearing this one. He's hurt right now.
Like, and he's playing hurt. Like, he's the truth, bro. And it's like, we're going to go into Seattle, and we got Kittle this time, you bitch-ass motherfuckers.
Didn't he play in that game last time?
Nope.
Are you sure?
Yup. Remember?
I think he played,
I rolled out Ross Dwelly against you. I played you that week.
Was that against me?
Yup. I rolled out Ross Dwelly and Chris Carson and Emmanuel Sanders. I had those 3 on a Monday night, and, like, I think you had, like, Tevin Coleman on me, and it was like there was, like, a certain margin, and it could have went either way, but I had, like, and my 3 guys, you know, they all combined for, like, 19 points. Like, they were all whack.
You're right. He did not play.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna beat their asses this week, especially with no Carson now. You heard they just signed Marshawn.
Yeah.
And Robert Turbin.
Oh, they're bringing the whole gang back together.
Yeah, no.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? How the fuck do they know the playbook? Schottenheimer wasn't there.
I mean, it's kind of the same guys,
okay, no, listen. What's the same? A run first?
I mean, it'd be like the same language, I would imagine. I mean, I would think Pete Carroll would have some input on that, doesn't he? Or
Like when people were texting me earlier and like, oh, Marshawn Lynch, he's coming back, bro, and you know he knows the system. I'm like, what system does he know? The Detroit Lions.
Yeah, but for a running back, you don't really need to like know a system.
You need to know but you need the system has certain protections. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he knows Russ, and Russ like
it's just so stupid. It's so stupid. But you know what it is too is I'm like we just closed at week 16 and I'm so tired of people talking to me like they know what the fuck they're talking about. You know what I mean? when a motherfucker texts me, he's like, "Oh, Marshawn Lynch, he knows the system." What system? Derek Bevel's system? The fuck out of here.
Very true, very true. I mean, it's the same team, same concept. Like, Seattle didn't get a brand new offense.
Okay, I could argue that. Same concept, you hand the ball and run it. Yeah, he knows how to do that. Okay, he knows the system. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just...
My bad.
No, all good.
I mean, it's just a familiar situation for him. It's not like he's going to, like, the Bengals. You know what I mean? Or, like...
You want to know something?
And he only has to play, 3 or 4 games? Marshawn is going to be ready, I feel like. But I don't think he's going to be great. I just think he's going to be ready.
Okay, how ready is a guy who was at the Raiders game in L.A. handing out tequila shots? Like, he had, a little bar set up, and he was serving tequila shots. And he was telling everyone, because he was feeling himself, because, he had a few. You know what I mean? He's telling everyone, hey, I'm going to go to Seattle. Like, because, simultaneously, Chris Carson goes down. He gets the news. He's like, yeah, I'm going. Like, and I thought it was a joke because, he's serving tequila and shit. And then they sign him. Like, there's, because, Pete Carroll, too. Pete Carroll probably is like, what's funny is Pete Carroll's that old white guy that will, he'll try to talk your language. Hey, what's up, my man? Hey, what's up, Beastie Mode? He fucks the nickname up too. Hey, Beastie Mode. Hey, it's Beast Mode, boss. Yeah. That's what I said. Okay, my man. Man, it would be so rad. You know what I mean? It would be so rad. You come over, he starts using wrong terminology, wrong. It's not even urban slang. He starts using white guy shit on accident. Hey, man, wouldn't it be so rad for the hood? Wouldn't it be so rad for the hood in Seattle? You come on, my man. You know what I mean? And what's funny is Pete Carroll. If Pete Carroll was any kind of real motherfucker, he'd be like, "Hey, Marshawn, you remember when I made that wrong call? Let's go make it right." You know what I mean? That's how you bring a motherfucker back. You know what I'm saying?
I think he did come out and say that there was unfinished business. Marshawn said that.
Hey, do you remember in the Super Bowl when they pick off Russell Wilson, and then this is in the NFL Films documentary, because they show all different kind of camera angles and shit in fucking 4K or whatever it is, and they had Marshawn Lynch. He's walking towards the sideline, and Pete Carroll is on his knees because he fell to his knees when they picked off Russell Wilson. Right?
Yes.
And Marshawn Lynch is walking past him, and he's just looking at him, shaking his head, smiling. Like, this old fucking cracker. You know what I mean? And you know what it was, too? What Marshawn's argument was after the fact was that he said they didn't want to give him the carry because he would have been the MVP of that game, and they wanted it to go to Russ.
That's
sounds about right, though, right?
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
He would have been the MVP of that game.
He was balling. He definitely was.
He was balling. You get that second touchdown to win the game, you're the MVP, right? And then, okay, here's the best on that before we move on from that. He goes ahead, he stands up. This is Pete Carroll. And he's walking, and the little belt thing that connects that the headphones plug into, right? The headphones are off his head and they're on the ground. He's just walking, dragging it. You know what I mean?
I mean, shit. If I fucked up that bad in the Super Bowl, I would probably be doing the same shit.
I'm about to think of him every time I think about this fantasy Super Bowl loss I took. I'm about to just think about how stupid as fuck as people could be. Like, all right, you're right. You're right, me. there is stupider people with more on the line that just make stupid calls.
Absolutely. He's got to live with that one, that's for sure. And I'll never, he's one of the faithful now, but our boy Sherm, his face was priceless after that too, as well.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
I wasn't mad. Was that the year? Oh no, was that the year they beat us? The Sherm interception game?
Yep.
Or was that the year before? That was the same year.
No.
That was the year before, huh?
That was the year before. That year they went up against Green Bay.
Denver.
No, they went up against the year in the NFC Championship is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
They went up against Green Bay, and that was the overtime game. One of Aaron Rodgers' many overtime games where he loses the goddamn coin flip.
Hey, Rodgers he looks kind of washed almost.
Listen, it's not harsh, but I wouldn't say he's a wash. You know what I'll say is that he's trying to not only is he not familiar with this fucking system like fully, right? Because this system's pretty complex. Mind you, look at how lost Marcus Mariota was in that system last season. You know what I mean? Because this is not, it's a Shanahan ripoff system, right? But they're not Shanahan's system. There's way more bootlegs. There's way more tight end usage. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the fuck Matt LaFleur is really trying to do, dog. And I feel like him not saying Aaron Rodgers can't call audibles and shit. Remember that?
Yeah, I don't know if that was really a thing.
I don't know. I'm just saying, and what they are is now, dog. Believe it or not, they're a run-first team. That's what the fuck they are.
Oh, absolutely. They're a run-heavy team, and it's Devontae Adams or nobody over there. And it's funny because when he throws to Adams, he puts it right on him every time. But when he's throwing to anyone else, the throws are bad.
Alan Lazard was supposed to have a 200-yard game today. How many fucking times?
Targets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But Rodgers doesn't throw I don't know. He just doesn't impress me like he used to. He looks like a game manager now. He doesn't take any risks. I really think it's because he hates his team, which is
but you know what though too? I also think there's a realm of. I mean, it is in the realm of possibility that now that they're playoff bound and they might have one of the top seeds. That's when LaFleur is probably just hold on, I have this whole other book right here, and he doesn't let no one see that playbook. You know what I mean? Just wait, because I don't want to just say he's vanilla and predictable, but it's kind of predictable. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing: where LaFleur's offense that he wants to run, he can't because Aaron Rodgers is his quarterback, and if Aaron Rodgers isn't buying into what he's doing, then you got Mike McCarthy all over again.
But it's but what they're doing is winning. What they're doing is winning, and it's not all on the shoulders of Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean?
You're true, but they've been a winning team for a long time now.
For when?
What do you mean?
When's the last time they were a winning team? 2 seasons ago? 3 seasons ago?
They're always in the playoffs. They never get it done, but they're
always in the
playoffs.
They haven't been in the playoffs for the last 2 years.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
But okay, the last 2 years wasn't Rodgers hurt though.
Last year,
DeShone Kaiser for a few games.
Last year he wasn't hurt. You mean Brett Hundley? He was.
Brett Hundley and Kaiser was in there too, I think, at some point.
Kaiser was with the Browns. Kaiser was there last season. Kaiser got some snap. He got some a series or two last year. Aaron Rodgers played Gimpy. Remember last year? He got Gimpy week 1 against the Bears, and then Aaron Rodgers never missed a game last year.
You are right about that.
Yeah,
you are right about that. They've been out the playoffs the last.
And then he came back. You know what's funny is in one of my title runs in 2017, I remember I needed a spot start at receiver, and Aaron Rodgers, he was coming back for a week 15 because he was coming off that collarbone. Remember that? And he was playing. Yeah. He was playing the Panthers, and if they win, their playoff chances were still alive. So I remember Randall Cobb was floating around, and I was like, yo. And Randall Cobb had 15 receptions that game or something like that. Something ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, I just remember him putting up like 20 points in the PPR, and it was like he had like 40 yards or something like that, and the rest were all, you know what I mean? It was just because Aaron Rodgers was coming off. But see, that's how I remember that year, because Aaron Rodgers, he got hurt like week 4 or week 3, and then, you know, he went the 10 weeks or whatever it was. You know what I mean? And then came back off the IR. But see, and then 2016, he got in the playoffs. They got to the NFC Championship, got against the Falcons, and these motherfuckers got into overtime, and he lost the goddamn coin flip again. You know what I mean? And like this also happened to him 2015, right? It also happened to him against the Cardinals in the divisional. Remember that it was the Geronimo Allison Jeff Janis game? Do you remember that?
Oh, the Hail Mary?
Oh yeah. There was 2 of them in that game. There was 2 Hail Marys that went for touchdowns. And like, but then they get into overtime, they lose the goddamn coin flip, and Larry Fitzgerald has like 4 catches to get them down in the end zone and win it.
I remember that. That was the year the Cardinals were like, what, 13-3 or something?
Yep, that was when my man Carson Wentz Carson Palmer. And that's why I love Bruce Arians so much, because he takes guys like Carson Palmer or guys like Jameis Winston, and like they're gunslingers by nature, and he's like, look we're gonna sling these guns. You know what I mean?
Is Jameis coming back next year?
Oh yeah.
Bruce loves him, right?
Fuck yeah, he loves him. You know what? You know what's funny is like I pay attention to things that Bruce says, and I remember it was like a week before the year started, right? And they're like, oh, how do you feel about Jameis Winston and his preseason and blah 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 blah. You know, he goes, I love Jameis. He's engaged to be married. I love it when men take the next step in life. Like, he had nothing. It was nothing to do with football, but it's just, he's just same way he loved Tyrann Mathieu. Remember that?
I didn't know about his love for him. I mean, I knew
he loved him. Like, he loved him because Tyrann Mathieu was like a motherfucker with all the off the field issues. You know what I mean? He had all these, and he's like, look, son. You know what I mean? Like, look, son, I drafted you because I believe in you and blah, 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 and this and that and the third. And he made him into a beast. You know what I mean? Like, Bruce Arians is like a football player whisperer, for real.
I mean, Tyrann Mathieu was good in college.
Yeah, but people weren't going to take a chance on him. So,
I guess.
So when Arizona drafted him where they drafted him, like there was no off the field issues, you know what I mean? Because I think they got him in like the 3rd round, I think, or 4th. You know what I'm saying? Like, off the field issue motherfuckers, sometimes they're undrafted free agents. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that guy was like a first round talent.
But either way, it was almost like if that would have been that, Belichick, he waits for that, or the Bengals. The Bengals are one of those teams. They get questionable like guys with issues off the field. So do the Chiefs. Like there's certain organizations. Oh yeah, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. You know what I'm saying? Kareem Hunt. All these guys had all off the field issues before they even came to the league. You know what I mean? Whether it was weed smoking or beating a bitch up. You know what I mean?
What did Travis Kelce do?
Smoke a hella weed.
I mean, I don't think that's a problem.
During the time he got drafted, in that climate of how the league was with marijuana, it was all bad.
I gotta look that one up. I didn't know that about Kelce. He looks like someone who blows tough.
He's a stoner, bro.
Oh yes, I love that. I'm looking that up right now.
Yeah. Make sure I'm right about that one, because I'll be upset if TK Noodle ain't a weed smoker, because I have that in my memory.
Pre-draft issues, TK Noodle. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to dive into that one.
Yeah, you might need to go down a further rabbit hole on that one. But yeah. So anyways, back to the Niner game. You know what I'm saying? Fucking Jared Goff and them. Bobby Woods. He Did he let people down, huh? Remember, I was so fucking faded off of Japanese whiskey. All I remember is that Kittle touchdown because that's all I give a fuck about.
Bobby Woods got a C note.
Oh, nice. Oh, okay.
Yeah, him and Higbee did. So I mean, if you were in a 100-yard bonus league, he did what he was supposed to do.
Ooh, Higbee came through one more time for owners. I love that.
Yeah, he put up like I think 8 or 9 for a touchdown.
Because
or something like that.
Because you know what's a bitch is that like people probably got scared off of him because Everett was gonna play.
Yeah, Everett didn't even really see the field.
No, you know what, too, dog? I'm in the future, dog. I'm just gonna remember like if a player's coming back off an injury, if he was like a dominant snap count having motherfucker, okay, cool, he's coming back, right? But if you're like a timeshare motherfucker, like an Everett is to like a Higbee, or vice versa, right? If they're coming back off an injury, more than likely they're not playing their original full complement of snaps.
Yeah, especially if the other guy goes crazy while you were out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's get into this fucking Sunday.
Sunday. Let's see. I mean, Falcons, Jags. You want to start there?
Yeah, let's start there. Fuck yeah.
Not much there, other than what Julio beats it out. Went for like 10 for 160.
Mm-hmm.
Devontae Freeman.
Yep.
You know what? I have to say, Devontae Freeman won me a title, bro. He won me a title. And you know what? I was really, really bothered by that Julian Edelman, Devontae Freeman trade I made. Like,
well,
because
you weren't looking down the road. You weren't looking.
No, I wasn't.
No, you weren't. You were doing it for the now. You weren't looking down the road at the time too. It wasn't like the Jags were one of the bottom 3 run defenses at the time, neither. To know that, oh shit, they're playing the Jags in week 16. I need them. You know what I mean?
It all just kind of came just together, which was at a shit timing. You know what I mean? It was great timing.
Some people call that destiny, my friend. You know what I'm saying? Same way I was like Devontae Parker's going to be on championship teams.
Yes, you did say that, and he was.
Yeah.
He definitely was. Yeah, it's funny, though. That's how football works. Like, I make so many trades, or I've made tons of trades where it's like 1 minute I got robbed, and then like the next minute I get saved. Or like you think you got the better end, and then by the end of it you see like, fuck, I got over on. Like, it's a week-to-week thing. Like, you don't. That's the thing I do love about it. It's like, you think, a lot of people think they can predict what's happening, but this shit changes drastically every week, bro.
No, for sure. I mean, you know, shout out to Willie Beeman any given Sunday. But see, here's where I could argue that. Once you get into a certain point of the year, you know what I'm saying? And you have data and you've been watching these teams, like, then I'll start looking down the road and I'll be like, I'm gonna trade for this guy because in 3 weeks he's gonna have a nice run. You know what I mean? Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but aside from that, it's like, yeah, you really don't know, especially when it's early on. And like in this case, when did you trade for him? Like week 4?
It was like, yeah, like week 5 or 6 or something like that. Gave up Julian Edelman for him straight up, and then kind of regretted it because Edelman was eating all year, like feasting over there, and Freeman was kind of like not doing jack shit all year. Did he miss time? Was he hurt at all this year? I feel like he was out.
Yeah, he did.
Right, so like he missed a couple games. Yeah, so like literally, I traded for him and he didn't do anything until this game.
No, he did what he had. He did his thing when it was the smash spot. This was a smash spot. Like, remember a couple weeks ago when it feels like so fucking long ago when the Candlestick Kid Hernandez, the silent partner himself, when he came through and we were setting lineups. I can't remember who the Falcons were playing, but I was like, Devontae Freeman's a smash. Carolina. There you go. That's what it was.
Yeah, he did good that game. He got 84 yards, you know, like an 18-point game.
Yeah, but, you know, compared to, like, what Freeman was the whole year, that was like, okay, this is time to play Freeman, and no one's going to play him. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And he showed up. He hadn't done anything in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, 7, 8 games, really. In those 8 games before that game, his previous high was, 12 points?
It's the same way people that had Saquon Barkley and, like, they're, like, so thankful for him, right? But it's like, really, I respect you if you got to the Super Bowl because you didn't get there, and you got there in spite of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't really see Saquon on too many rosters.
Yeah, no, like I said, if you got there with Saquon, I commend you. Same way, like, you got to where you got without Freeman, but the fact that you had him in a smash spot, you know what I mean? Like, you had to roll him out.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
it was an easy play. And you know what? I had you to thank for that, brother. I had you to thank.
Yeah, because you were...
Even though I would have played him regardless, but, like... Still,
well, you were on Mostert. You were looking at Mostert really tough, and I was like, oh, no. I was like, Freeman is without a doubt in there. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, you could still look at Mostert, but you can't look at Mostert over Freeman. Like, Freeman was in there.
No, I plugged him in. I was looking at... I really, really wanted to bench DJ Moore hard in that league, especially with Will Grier being in there. Yeah, I wish I had, but it almost cost me. It almost cost me because he got knocked out early.
Man, I fucked my shit up in that regard where I was... my opponent in the Super Bowl, he needed a defense, and I went and grabbed every defense, and I had priority. I could have grabbed the Colts, but I wanted him to have the Colts. I wanted because he had DJ Moore and CMC, and I'm like, this guy, you know, I was like, those two should eat, and it will destroy his defense. They will cannibalize each other. You know what I mean? If he scored, say DJ Moore scored a touchdown right out the gate, or CMC, that would be -6 off his defense. So the 6 that would be added would be minus to his defense. So it's like, I love the idea of that. And that was just me like giving him, you know what they call that, my friend? Destiny. Where it was like, you know what I mean? I boxed him into getting the Colts because it was the most obvious play for anybody who needed a defense. But it was also like an untrustworthy play to me where I was like, yo, they're going to beat the fuck out of that defense because everyone does. And then Nyheim Hines runs 2 fucking kicks, 2 punts back for a touchdown. And in our scoring format, it's a point for every 25 yards returned. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, so like he had 280 or he had an 80 and a 90-yard return to the house. So it was like, yo, that was like devastating.
Yeah, that was costly.
Like,
I think you said you were worried about it though too, weren't you? Like,
yeah,
going in?
but because it was a risk that I thought I calculated correctly, and you know. That was
you don't factor in punt returns.
I was about to say that, bro. I didn't factor in, you know, Nyheim Hines fucking me up. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
nah, there's no way you can foreshadow that.
Nah.
I mean, they kind of did their thing though against Will Grier though.
Yeah, but
they had a gang of sacks and a couple 3 interceptions, and so yeah, that was a brutal one. What did they put up, like a 37 piece, 36, something like that?
32.
And Denver D over there sitting there with 7.
Yeah, I didn't start Denver Z though.
No, I know. Just you could have. Yeah.
Yeah, I could have left Denver's D. That would have been the other obvious play. And then you know what? That would have won me a title. If I would have just grabbed the Colts, I didn't even have to play the Colts. Just keep it away from him. And it's, you know, it's not like I can see the future, but you know what I'm saying? It's like I honestly, before that week started, I would not want him to have the Broncos. I'd rather have him have the Colts because CMC would beat their ass theoretically. You know what I mean? DJ Moore would beat their ass. You know what I mean? Even if it was a Will Grier, because you know it was just one of those things like, you know what I mean? I thought I was being savvy and it just bit me in the ass, like royally.
Oh yeah,
but I love it.
God, we're not kind.
But I love it though because it was all said on the podcast, like the whole thought process, everything. So it's not like it's just these are excuses I'm making right now. You know what I mean? These are like legit my thought process. That's why you gotta fuck with me, playmakers. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like I make mistakes too, but then there's also like I rarely make mistakes. How about that?
I like that.
I'm gonna tell you this much. This was the perfect example for me of like any given Sunday shit. Because like when you look at his lineup, Tyler Lockett didn't do shit. You know what I'm saying? DJ Moore didn't do shit. You know what I'm saying? He had Matt Ryan, who would have had, what is it? he would have had like 22 if it wasn't for our scoring format. So he put up 25. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then it's really the Colts. Like, if you minus the Colts from him, you know what I'm saying? And throw any end of the defense, any other of them that was available. You know what I mean? I would have took it down. Like, even with Aaron Jones going off on a Monday night, like, it was just crazy.
Oh, Aaron Jones almost snatched my title out of my hands.
Mm-hmm.
He sure the fuck did.
It was funny, too, because I was like, when you're like, I'm sick, bro, I'm throwing up. And I was like, fuck, I need you with all your force against Aaron Jones with me.
What was crazy, too, I was playing the Swindler in a league where I had Aaron Jones and, you know, I had like Adams and Jones.
How did that one go?
Oh, I whipped his ass.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the leagues.
Oh, that's why he was like hella like congratulating the cheetah, like just hella trying to shit on you somehow.
Oh no, he wasn't shitting on me. We didn't even really talk about that.
Before it was done though. Before like there was still like in the air. It was like midday yesterday. He's in a thread. Congratulations to the league cheetah. Like.
Yeah, I mean he had a commanding lead, and I had no hope. So, I mean, I congratulated him, too, yesterday, because I knew he had it.
Yeah, but that was a reverse jinx at its finest. Get the fuck out of here.
No, it wasn't, bro. I knew I was done. I was sick to my stomach.
I'll tell you this much.
I would have needed a Mike Boone 100-yard, 4-touchdown game.
I was up 2.7 points, and I was still reverse jinxing the fuck out of it all the way down to the line. You know what I'm saying?
And he started off the game with a fumble.
Oh, my God. Bro. I was like, you know what's funny? When he fumbled, I went crazy. And then I immediately got to my senses because I was like, fuck, he just got a reception, so technically that's not really going to hurt it as much because he ends up jumping up. He jumps up a point, then they -2. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck. So I was still in the same boat. You know what I mean? Like, it was just cool. It was cool for drama. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
It was tough though. But yeah, it was.
Like he didn't finish me off. He didn't surpass that 2.7 until 3 minutes to go into the half. So at least I got to go like that far into the game. You know what I'm saying? Where I was like,
silver linings.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But you know what's funny too is like, right there, I had to stop myself. I was about to yell out, well, Andy Dalton. But there's no way. Like, no matter which way I spin it, Andy Dalton was never making it in my lineup.
And you know what? You gotta take with a grain of salt that, you know what? You may have took an L, but you took an L to a playmaker. You know what I mean? It's not like you lost to some bum.
Yeah, for sure. But
you know what I mean? So like, yeah, you know, he's a playmaker. You know what I mean? And you got there, and you know what I mean? You snuck in the playoffs. You know, I don't want to say snuck in, but like, you were, you know, there were some good teams, and you guys took out some good teams to get there. You know what I mean? So you did your thing, and a second place finish is not it's not horrible, especially because you do get some money for that too.
Well, how about this? We said this on the podcast last time. Well, not we. I asked you. I said, is it cowardly to act like that? I asked you what's your take on the split, right? Because I did approach him with some type of split scenario, and he was so about it. It was like no question. I was like, cool. You know what I mean? But then the fantasy gods, they don't like cowardly acts. And that's a cowardly act. You know what I mean?
Yes, me and the professor, we never spoke about a split, and I threw out like a mild adjustment towards, like, not even really, like.
And you know what?
You know what it was? The Swindler. He threw it out there. He's like, "Are you guys chopping? Like, what's the deal here?" And I said, "Chop." I said, like you said, that's a sign of weakness. To go for the chop. And so I said, then I threw out something.
But see,
and then the professor,
I wasn't going for a chop. I was just going for insurance because a chop is like you know you don't have a chance. A chop is cowardly.
And yeah. I got some. So anyway, two things. One, the professor hits me with, "Let's play for it all," right?
Ooh. Like, oh my God, that's ballsy. That, you know what, the fantasy gods love that. They love that.
And you know what? Like, I knew in that moment because he had me stunned. Like, I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I got scared when he said that.
He's so confident.
Because I was like, and then he goes, nah, I'm just fucking with you. And I go, bro, you have me spooked, but I was about to accept. Because I was confident I was going to win. Like, I was very confident. But when he said that, bro, that spooked feeling I had, I think manifested that L, bro. I think it did.
I believe in all that shit, bro. That's why I was like...
And then in my work league, these motherfuckers get to the championship game, and they fucking just chop the whole pot. They just split it. I found that out today. I was like, oh, you guys are weak as fuck.
But you know what, though, too, bro, is like, whenever there's not a physical title on the line, it's just really about money to people that aren't the enthusiasts like us. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So I think they both got like, yeah, I didn't like that. I don't like that. There should be something for winning more than just a complete chop. No, never a fan of that.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, and that's why I'm always going to relate Texas Hold'em to fantasy football. You know what I mean? Because how many times have we been in a tourney and we get down, it's the last two in a tournament, and you're like, yo, you know what I mean? And that motherfuckers, when they agree, see, in poker is different because you chop, you don't have to see anything play out, really. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Right?
I'm not a fan of poker chops either.
It's to some degree. Here's the thing. I would have never brought up a chop if it wasn't like a substantial amount of money on the table. You know what I mean? Like in this league in particular.
No, you guys didn't chop. You guys just adjusted.
Yeah.
Payout.
But still, though,
so, I mean, there was a significant amount more for winning than there was losing.
Oh yeah. So
yeah. You know that's I'm cool with that. I'm way cool with that. You know what I mean? But like, just an even split, like.
No, that's pussy shit. Fuck that shit.
That's pansies.
Because, and I think I asked you on the podcast, like, how do you feel about, you know, split scenarios, like, you know, or coming to terms? And I was like, because, you know, and you're like, I don't have a problem with it. But then I go, well, it's really no one else can say anything because it's really just the last two people. If they wanted, you know, they do what they want to do with it. You know what I mean? But I mean, for the amount of leagues that we play and, you know what I'm saying, getting some kind of insurance to like recoup from, you know, league fees, I love that, and still come out with some bread. You know what I mean? Like that's at the end of the day too. It's like, it was funny because when we were having this conversation, he goes, let's just combine the money, split it. This is his shit. He goes, let's combine the money, split it, and then take out enough money to get a big ass trophy. And I was like, ooh, I like that. But then it was like, you don't like 70-30? He's like, yeah, I like that. I was like, okay, done. You know what I mean? Let's not speak of this title and shit. No, because then it was like, I don't want to split. I want the spoils and the title. Like, if we're gonna get, you know what I mean? Like, fuck that. But also because I feel like in that league in particular, you know what I mean? I almost want to raise the stakes next year because, because if there's with no title on the line, this can always be an invitational. Like, you know what I mean? Like I love our keeper league because we have a trophy. You know what I'm saying? And you know it's gonna travel around with the members, with the champion, and you know we have the same, you know, barring like death. You know what I mean? We have the same 10 fantasy enthusiasts that are going to come back every year. You know what I mean?
I love that. Barring death.
Yes, this is to the
That's
death.
the only way they're out?
Fuck yeah. You know,
okay, good.
You know, my other cousin Adam, the team that you took over. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Adam, by the way, for handing over a dynasty.
You mean shout out to me for helping him build his team in his first year in fantasy? And
shout out to you.
And I had to give up the farm to get my Michael Thomas back. That I was like, yeah, draft Michael Thomas. So no one else. You know what I'm saying?
That trade is kind of like, I don't want to say
you won a title without him.
I know, but I could have.
You got TK Noodle. You got TK Noodle who put up like a 30 burger for you to get to the Super Bowl. Like you can't. You would have been dealing with the Hunter Henry nonsense, and I probably would have traded you Mark Andrews along the way somehow.
You sure would have. No, you know what? I'm not mad at that trade at all. When I look back at it, giving up Michael Thomas was, you know, bad business. But I got a high pick going into next year. I do have Kelsey, so we're good.
You know why I'm not worried about you having my pick in that first round is because you're gonna go and grab like you'll be a guy who like will release Juju and then like he'll be there and you won't be able to resist it.
I think I'm the guy who owns Juju still, and I don't know.
Like I said, you'll release Juju and then you won't be able to resist it when he's there.
Let me tell you one thing. Juju is not somebody I'm going to be excited about going into next year.
I am. In regular redraft? Fuck yeah.
Don't you start that shit now.
Fuck yeah. Because now he's not going to be that bitch-ass second-round value that people thought he was going to return value on, or even the early second-round value that he was. Give me Juju in the 5th or 6th round.
Yeah, with Ben coming back. I'm not mad at that.
I don't even think Big Ben coming back. You know what? I think Andy Dalton's gonna be there. Fuck crazy shit.
Why wouldn't Big Ben be back?
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I just think Big Ben's a piece of shit, and I think he's fat.
He is a piece of shit, but he's a good quarterback. So
good as in what? Good as in what? That he had Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell for the Pat. Can you remember this with me? Remember?
Ben put up some big years.
Okay, after his Super Bowl run, correct me if I'm wrong, he went playoff dry for like a couple years, and then they drafted Le'Veon Bell, and then all of a sudden they were back in the mix, and it was also like he was like injury prone as fuck for those 2 years. Like matter of fact, 2016 he missed a handful of games, and we saw Landry in there as the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? 2017, he finally played a whole season, and he hadn't done that, I don't think, ever. Like, I mean, that might be something you want to look up for me, but I'm just saying my version is better. Like, I think Ben Roethlisberger is hella done, and I think like they're gonna either acquire a quarterback in the draft, whether it's a late round guy, a flyer to sit behind, but also like Ben Roethlisberger is like detrimental to that team because he don't want anything good. Like, Antonio Brown has a problem with me. Fuck you, Antonio Brown. Get out of here. Oh, Le'Veon Bell. Like, Le'Veon Bell's holding out, and then like he'll have nerve to like throw shots at him in post game interviews. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that guy. I'm just saying.
Well, he does have 2 rings, though, that they don't have. Bell and Brown never got
one,
right?
First ring was on the back of that defense, and who was the running back? What's his name? Not Hines Ward. Who was the other guy? Bettis.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was a rookie, wasn't he? Or like second year?
Yeah, he was a rookie the first year, I think. I think it was the first or second year.
He got it done, though. He got it done.
He has the one ring.
That gives you cachet.
I respect Eli Manning's 2 rings more than I do fucking Ben Roethlisberger's 2 rings. Ben Roethlisberger.
Eli did the same thing. They rode off that defense all the way. That defense won them championships, not Eli.
You beat the Patriots twice.
That is true. That is true.
No, case closed. How many times did Ben Roethlisberger lose to them in the AFC title? Like, you know what I'm saying? Listen, Roethlisberger. I respect his 1 title ring that he got against the Graybeard himself. Fucking, what's his name? Kurt Warner.
Oh, yeah. That was a great Super Bowl.
Fuck yeah. Probably my favorite Super Bowl.
I wanted Arizona to win so bad.
Me too. And you know what's funny is because, like, I just remember this because I had Arizona. Like, I had bread on them. But, like, you know what's funny is that I was the Steel, like, for instance, I was the Eagles guy all year 2017, only to bet against them in the Super Bowl, and then be wrong. Yeah, so the same way I was Steelers all year that year, only to bet on the Cardinals that year in the Super Bowl because the under. You know what I mean? I mean the under the underdog. You know what I mean? And I bet them to cover. And then it was just crazy. Like, it was just like so many times I had it, so many times I didn't. You know, it's such a back and forth game. Like, it was a great Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and besides that, Big Ben, you're a fucking rapist, and you fucking, and then you know what I mean? Like, you know, like you had the black and yellow song was all in rotation, and it's like, no. Green Bay Packers are gonna fuck y'all up, rapist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was on Pittsburgh that one.
Yeah, I was on. You know what's funny is that our Niners were still like really bad. Like, I think it was the year before we got Harbaugh, right? But like, we were still really bad. So it was like, I clinged on to guys like Rodgers or Brady, where it was like, because they're Niners at heart. You know what I mean? Where it was like, yeah, let's go, Rodgers. You know what I mean? Like,
Rodgers, I feel like he treats his whole team like he treats his agent on those State Farm commercials.
For real, huh? Just hello.
He's like, none of us are boys. None of us.
You know what? I mean, this is like extra pause, even thought process, like pause, like, you know, the preemptive pause. But like, I bet you like Aaron Rodgers, when he's having sex, he's like real stern too. You know what I mean? Like, okay, turn around. Oh, yes, like that. That's really good right there. That feels really good. That's really good. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Again. Mm-hmm. Okay. Some more. Oh, I'm
really enjoying this.
I'm going to climax.
Yeah. Maybe that's why Olivia Nunn couldn't hang around.
Damn. You know what sucks is that Aaron Rodgers is a Sagittarius like me, and it's like he's like I'm wondering if like this is all just a football act. You know what I mean? Like kind of like how like in my mind I think Belichick's a party animal. But, like, you just don't see Belichick behind the scenes. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, not at all. He's a hell of a golfer. Did you know that about him?
Oh, yeah. And he's a fisherman. And he done lost his whole family because he's dedicated to football. And I think he also has, like, a 3-year-old right now, like, and a girlfriend. So it's like he's out there slaying them still.
His son is one of his coaches.
Yeah, I know. But I'm talking about outside his original, you know what I mean? He has kids out of.
He's still out there slaying, huh?
Yeah, like come on now, bro. How many championships you got? Why? It's a higher probability that he's out there on the low celebrating all day, like I'm the best in the world. You know what I mean?
Out there drilling them.
Yeah, all the Boston chicks talking about hotter, Bill.
Let's go, Sonny.
Funny. You know what? What other games you want to touch on? I don't really want to cover all the games. I just want to touch games on that we had shit in. Okay. How about okay, we kind of shitted on Russell Wilson already, so we don't need to talk about that. Oh, how about Kenyon Drake? He's a starter. He's a starter for Arizona next year.
He's a free agent though.
I think they gave him a deal. And I think
they have to. Now you see him after his first touchdown. He unlocked the vault and he basically said, "Pay me."
Oh yeah, that's right. That was his little celebration thing.
Yeah, it's like he unlocked the vault, stole the cash, and then he was throwing up the Johnny Manziel money sign.
You know who's
cash? In Arizona, y'all gonna pay me.
He opened Arizona's safe and he took out David Johnson's money, and he fucking because David
Johnson, man, what the fuck?
He doesn't fit that system. You know,
I get the system thing, but like he was a great player. I mean, like in fantasy terms, like a first round like pick for most years he was healthy.
I mean,
to be a guy that is just taking a back seat to Kenyon Drake now. It's like I feel like there's more going on.
Do you remember when we could run? Okay, I thought of this. Do you remember when we could run the ball a lot, the Niners, right? And then we lose Upati, right? He goes to Arizona. All of a sudden, David Johnson's career year, 2016, right? And then they've been trashed ever since. Upati is since then he's went to the Seahawks. You know what I mean? Like, and he's not as great anymore anyway. But like, you know what I'm saying? So you bring in a guy like Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake came from the Dolphins, who had a trash line. You know what I mean? Like David Johnson's a guy. He's not explosive out of the hole. He's like what he is what David Johnson is a guy who gets momentum going, like a Derrick Henry. right? But David Johnson, what his ace in the hole is, he's a great route runner. You know what I'm saying? So he could run short, immediate routes out of the slot. He could run routes out wide, like, you know what I mean? Like, and he has great hands. Now with all those characteristics, they all match because we've seen him be used like that, right?
Right.
We didn't see him be used like that at all. They attempted it in the beginning of the year. Like he had more receiving yards than rushing yards, or even like targets than rushing attempts. Even, you know what I mean? Like, and then I think like with the high pace offense they're trying to run, he just doesn't. They need a speedy guy. That's how I look at it. And
yeah, no, they just moved him out. He wasn't like.
And you know what?
Kind of weird.
You know when they paid David Johnson, they paid him going into. They paid him. I want to say going into. Was it the 2017 or 2018 year? I want to say no. I don't want to say they paid him. They extended him because he definitely got paid before Gurley got paid.
I believe so.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like whatever deal he got didn't break the bank, so he could be traded, and the contract could be adjusted. A motherfucker like Bruce Arians will get him.
Oh, I can see that happening fast.
Fuck yeah.
Because they're not in love with their running back situation over there.
Yeah, and it is Byron Leftwich there as the OC. He took over when they fired Mike McCoy. Remember that?
Right.
And so he was there with David Johnson last season in the Cardinals. You know what I mean? So there's all those factors, especially not only that he was with Byron Leftwich last season in that system that they're running, but also with Bruce Arians just in general. You know what I mean? So I see that happening like a motherfucker.
Was Byron Leftwich in Arizona last year?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I think he was the quarterback coach turned OC when they fired McCoy.
I was a fucking Leftwich truther when that pool came out from Marshall.
Where was he? The Jags? Where did he play again? I don't remember.
I think he went to the Jags. I think that sounds right.
Okay, because that's where I remember him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the Jags. But he came out. I remember in college, he broke his leg during the game, and he was still playing, and they're carrying him down the field to get the next snap off and shit.
Oh, that's so gangster.
You ever saw that or heard about that?
No.
This fool had a fractured leg or something in their last game, a bowl game or something, and he's in there, and he throws a pass down the field, whatever, and then the two linemen grab him and run him up to the line, and then they get the next play off. But yeah, he played with a broken leg in the game.
Wow.
Gangster. It was a gangster ass shit. That's why I was like, damn, this guy's fucking savage. And he had a fucking cannon ass arm.
You know what's funny? You basically described me, Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a tough son of a bitch that were remember they dislocated his throwing shoulder? Do you remember that?
Who, Stafford?
Yeah, this was when he was already playing for the Lions. He
he only played for the Lions.
Yeah, no, I'm saying this wasn't college shit.
Early on.
Yeah, so he already played for the Lions, and he takes a sack. Wow. Oh, don't touch it. You know what I mean? Because his shit was popped out. And then they're on the sideline. They're taking him out. It was like a third down. And then I think there was only X amount of seconds left on the clock. And then he goes to the sideline, and then the trainers, they pop his shit back in. And they're they're trying to take him to the locker room. No, get the fuck out of my way. He was literally saying that, get the fuck out of my way. And he goes to the field. Nowadays they won't allow this shit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nowadays the way the trainers are and the way all this shit, no, they're not. But he went out there, he got in the shotgun, took the snap, threw the fucking touchdown, and called it a day.
That's how you do it, bro.
Dislocated fucking shoulder. Pop it back in. Boom. Oh, he's screaming and shit. And he's like, get the fuck out of my way. Let me get up. And he fucking goes.
Love that gamer.
Oh yeah.
I did that shit when do you remember in PE when they used to play football, like flag football?
Yep.
I went out to, I remember I fucking broke my leg, like a day or two before Christmas break, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just broke my leg, skating. Had a boot on, all that, a cast. We come back and we're playing football. I'm like, fuck, I was pissed, right? You know, that was my shit.
Oh yeah.
And so, but I'm in a fucking boot, and I said, fuck you guys, I'm playing. Fuck, I'm going to be quarterback, I can't run routes. And I'm out there running around with a fucking boot on, throwing dimes, still running, like limping up and down the field, bro. That shit was fucking fun, bro. But it's like, that's like...
So you mean you were running the bootleg?
I was running the bootleg,
Hey-o.
bro. I wasn't naked. It wasn't naked. It was fully clothed. Fully clothed. But yeah, no, it's like, I love that kind of shit, bro. Like, because that's why I'm a gamer at heart. So when I see guys that are playing through pain or like grinds, bro, like that's, those are my guys. Those are my guys.
Let's get to this Cowboys-Eagles game.
Let's get to it. Let's get to it.
All right. So fucking trash are the fucking Cowboys. Like, and I'm not even clowning them like that they're trash talent-wise. You know what I mean? Like, they're just so fucking trash coaching. Like, everything trickles down from the top. You know what I mean? And like, because equally as trash is as far as like situation, right? And I mean like injuries and stuff like that. That's the Eagles situation. All these injuries, right? And then you have just a solid coach who could like take the fucking, the fourth string quarterback Greg Ward and like convert him into receiver. You know what I mean? Take the fucking, make sure Dallas Goedert is like, like just ready to be, to step in at any given notice with no Ertz. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they make do. Like Sanders, they were like, they like, how right was I about Sanders? I know it took a fucking long while, and it might have took a Jordan Howard injury, but it just took.
Well, Jordan Howard and Alshon and Deshaun. So there was a lot of injuries that had to happen for them to lean on him.
Yeah, but Sanders had big games with all them there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sprinkled into the season.
They didn't have big volume games though. Like now.
No.
Crazy volume.
No, not at all. But see, now that the volume, like, and that's all I wanted. Like, when I was like, I remember me and you one time we had a conversation about like why I like Miles Sanders so much, and I was just like, he's the guy that was there, that was recruited to Penn State to sit behind Saquon. You know what I mean? Like, you don't just get some regular running back like, all right, you're gonna go in case Saquon's out. Like, you need a guy who possesses the same, what is it called? Abilities. I'll say abilities because talent and abilities are kind of the same, right? But like physically, and you know what I'm saying, the specimen that Barkley is, no one's like that. You know what I mean? Like,
right. You can't duplicate that.
No, but as far as like a guy you could plug and play in the passing game and running game fastest, like all the shit that whatever the playbook demands, Miles Sanders could do that. You know what I mean? And like now, you know what's crazy is that like so this is why I bring this game up, right? Okay, hold on. I was bringing this game up because I wanted to get into the Niners shit just in case somehow we don't beat the Seahawks ass. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to go into Philly.
I don't want to go anywhere either, but I mean, we're gonna roll Seattle.
I hope so.
I don't want to say roll. We're gonna beat them.
You know what's funny? Our last 4 weeks, every game came down to the very last play.
That's actually correct.
Matter of fact, our last 4 wins? Our last 4 wins even, because I know in the past 4 weeks, we lost to the Ravens in one of them and the Falcons.
Right.
Yeah, but all those games came down to the last play. The last 5 weeks, let's say that 5-6 weeks even.
Right.
Like, so it's like I can't just comfortably say we're gonna roll the Seahawks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel there's a lot on the line right now, though. A lot of motivation to roll them. Seattle's kind of beat up. But you know what? I mean, we're just talking about the
Seattle's really beat up.
Yeah, and we were beat up when we played them last time.
Yeah, I know.
And we're a lot healthier now.
Yeah. And here's the thing. All the guys that they're missing, like the Seahawks, like Shaquem Griffin, Jadeveon Clowney, these guys will get up for this game. You know what I mean? So I kind of like that. Like whether they're gonna get cortisone shot up to all their little boo boos, you know what I mean, or not, their little owies, you know what I mean, or they come in playing banged up. So it's like, okay, I like that. You know what I mean? Okay.
Oh, it's gonna be a doozy.
Okay. Look this was killing me for a long time, but now that my loss was like by the margin it was, I'm not mad about it. But when Miles Sanders was running to ice the game, like, he really listened to his coach, because it was like the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10 slide. It was like, run it home.
Did he have a clear path?
Fuck yeah, he did.
See, I was out. I tuned out after that. The halftime of the.
There was a man.
Game.
He was far enough away from the sideline that the guy was far enough from him that he couldn't push him out the sideline. So he had to step on the guy, but like a smart motherfucker would do, like the coach was probably like, get the first down and hit the deck. You know what I mean?
Stay in bounds.
Yeah, so I'm not mad at it. Like, good heads up play even. You know what I mean? He could have tried to run for the glory and they could have punched the ball out or some fuck shit. You know what I mean? Like, the game was still too close. They still only won that game by one possession. You know what I mean? Like, it could, granted, a touchdown and a 2-point would have tied it, is what I'm saying.
Oh, that would have been dirty.
You know what's a bitch? It's like, I needed that Sanders touchdown right there. Because then it would have still been like, because the Cowboys didn't have no what is it called? They didn't have no timeouts. I think there was like 45 seconds left on the clock. If he would have ran the touchdown in, you know what I mean? What, they kicked the extra point and then, or maybe they try to go for the 2. So to keep it really, no, they wouldn't even do that because then it wouldn't matter. It would be a 2-possession game, right? They could have gave, you know what that usually means? Even 45 seconds, even if there's no timeouts, there's a good chance they get a garbage time touchdown and go for an onside kick. And I was just like, fuck, dude, give me that. You know what I mean? But it's like, yeah, either way. I'm going to do this for like
my brother.
I'm going to do this for a whole year. Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm
Okay.
looking forward to next year in a major way already.
Yeah, me too, dog. Because you know why? Like, I feel like I create so many monsters around me. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone better, and if I didn't contribute to you being a monster, you better be one already. Because the leagues that we're in, it's a fucking bloodbath. Yeah, minus the shout out to Kali, shout out to the pipe layers. He's the guy that flies by the seat of his pants. You know what I'm saying? Like, but everybody else is like, and then you got my crazy cousin Ryan, who's just like unpredictable as fuck. Like, he can just turn everything upside down for everyone across the landscape. You know what I mean? Like, aside from that, we have a bunch of like steady hitters that motherfuckers that just they don't go astray. You know what I mean? Like, you know when they're gonna play you, they're not fucking around. You know what I mean? Like, I love that.
Oh yeah, you got to. That's what I made it. That's what happened with the East Side League, bro. Like, these guys were all green when we first started, and now there's some hitters over there. Now there are some dumbasses, obviously.
And I quote. He says, "Oh, the professor? He's trash." Well, he's good.
Said that?
You did on the podcast. You're like, oh, because I asked you. Because remember, I was like, we were talking about your matchup.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. We were talking about your matchup with the professor, right? And I go, yeah. I go.
I was a little cocky, maybe, but I actually. Okay, so that the professor.
Well, because remember, I've only been in that league with y'all for 2 years. So, and professor's been.
That's the only thing he's done in his fantasy career.
In his past 2 years. So my perspective on him is he's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, he wasn't always in the league. Last year was his first year in the league. But he's somebody that I've played with who's never had any success, as far as I've seen.
Well, you know what's crazy is Okay, actually, how about this? Let me ask you this: those other leagues you took down, those are Shannon's leagues, right?
Yes.
Okay, how many fish does Shannon stuff in those leagues?
As many as he can.
Okay, so that's why you're never really stunting those championships as you would if like the East was like the East Side League win or something.
Right, because it's a lot. I mean, they're fun leagues, but it's a lot of chaos, and it's like it's all random. Like it's hella random. Like his scoring, like you would.
Yeah.
Really
But you can keep up a random. The regular motherfuckers can't.
I can keep up in any format.
Yeah, I'm just saying though. But regular.
When I join a league, I always check it, but I'll never like complain about something or have an issue or be like, oh, that's whack. I'm not playing. Like it is what it is.
I think I'm upset now because I was invited to every single one of those Shannon leagues, even by Shannon. Like you would text me.
You would be pissed though. You would be pissed because like you're a fantasy like stickler. But
yeah,
I've learned about you. You're very particular with your fantasy football. And like
and it's all bonuses up the yin yang and shit like that.
There's 40-yard bonuses. There's 100-yard bonuses. Like
but see, here's the thing. If it's chock full of fish, then I'm with it. Like, I don't want bonuses when it's motherfuckers they're supposed to know what they're doing. Because then it's like, oh, you beat me because you got the bonus, just lucky son of a bitch. Or like, you know what I mean? Or it was garbage time, and then, to ice the game, the motherfuckers just ran it all the way down and got you that 100. Like the fluky nature of just sports in general. I don't like bonus. I don't like bonuses because of that. Like, it's already fluky enough, let alone like you have a player who's hella like it's. How about this? It's almost like the draft, the ADP should be like, to me, it would be affected to me on people who have a higher potential of these 100-yard games than the next guy. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, for sure.
Maybe that's why I'm a stickler for it. Where it's like,
but those guys already have a high ADP. Like, if you think about it, anybody who's a guy that's going to get 100 yards. Like, you're going to expect 100 yards from every game, like a nuke or something. Like those top.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Very true.
High. So
Point made.
It doesn't really factor in as much as you might think, but it's a lot of like random shit. But like I said, I'm on top of my shit. I'm a hitter, so like I'm on it every week. So I'm just building juggernauts. Like I built squads over there.
Because those are the ones where you like 3 quarterbacks and shit like that, right? Like they're all. They're all 10-team leagues. To do stuff like that.
One of them was a 12-team league, I think. But yeah, they're mostly 10-team leagues. And Shannon likes to win, so he, like I said, he fills them up with. There's some fish in there. Believe me, he doesn't. He's told me already several times. He goes, Joe, I should have kept you out of my shit, Joe. You're fucking with my money, Joe. Like, he gets pissed because he knows. But he calls me right before every draft talking about he needs someone to draft. So, but you know what I mean. But he knows who I am. He knows what I do. So he don't like. He's like, he didn't invite me to a bunch of invites in other leagues.
You know what's funny is like I want to be in leagues like that. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's like I like to win money, but then it's like I don't want to lose to some bumbling buffoons and shit, man. That shit pisses me off.
Yeah, it usually never happens that way. Not too many buffoons win those leagues.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like
it's weird shit that happens though. But that's a league you would like because guys like those flyers guys that you talk about, you can plug those guys in all day in those kind of leagues.
For sure, those like I can imagine in those type of leagues, the bench is truly the roster is truly my second bench. I mean, the waiver wire is truly my second bench.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's always action out there. And these guys in these leagues they're so slow on the waivers. Like it's like the first 6 weeks, they're people are on it, but then after that, it's like guys aren't even making any moves over there. It's kind of like I've stole a bunch of players that I shouldn't have got. But it is what it is. I'm not like.
No, I'm not knocking your titles in those leagues. I'm just saying, like, I know, like, those are more of the aspect of like I'm about to clean up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's the goal over there. Like, I won in all his leagues. That's
Like,
what I tell him.
you know what's funny is like, I would play fantasy leagues with like the hitters of all hitters, even if it was for free. How about this? The only reason I don't play those leagues is because I'm in other leagues with guys that they're not no regular degglers by any means, but also the fact that there is money on the line, so they stay engaged because those type of enthusiasts they play it. Yeah, if you play fantasy and you come back every year, you love the shit, but the money keeps them engaged. You know what I mean? Like all those all the professional fantasy analysts, they play in major leagues all together, and there's ones they play for money, but most of them are just for like whatever charity. You know what I mean? That they all donate money, and then there's a pot, and whoever wins, it goes to that charity. But it's like they're in it for the sport. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, of course.
Yeah, like when me and you were in the Super Bowl last year, it was no coincidence I was looking at you across from me. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, not to say that everybody else was bums, but then also it's just like, look, if there's 10 motherfuckers and we're all fighting to the death, I would put my money on the guys that are invested like us. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. It just ain't no quit.
Yeah, like I'm finna be like for instance, I've been doing this thing for what 7 years now, right? Yeah, 7 years because 2013 was the first time I played, and I took over. Shout out to Pootie. I took over his team, right? And then I got bit with the bug, and I've been in it ever since. And I stay in the Super Bowl every year. I've never not been in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Granted, I've lost several Super Bowls. You know what I mean? So I stay, but I've won a handful of Super Bowls, but I've now officially lost an equal amount of Super Bowls. You know what I mean? After this one, you know what I mean? So it's like I love it because there's no way I'm not coming back. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, for sure, love that.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
you're a lifer now, bro.
Oh yeah, I've been.
Absolutely. That's what I mean. Same shit happened to me because I was like 14 years old. And I was like, yes, I want all this.
I know, and that's cool too because you actually have those stories. Where it's like, well, back in my day, you know what I mean?
I'm a fantasy OG, bro. Like it sounds cocky or whatever, but it's like, fuck. I was raised in that, dog. My dad took me and my brother, the swimmer, to a Chuck E. Cheese one day, and we did a fucking fantasy baseball draft at Chuck E. Cheese. It was just three of us.
And really? Just the three of y'all?
Just three of us. And he was just like, I respect him for that because he's just like, just trying to get him into it. You know what I mean? And we were like, oh yeah, give me a Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey, and like, you know what I mean? Like, just going. We were just like geeks like that. Like when we played, like bro, whenever I played a video game, if the guys weren't on the right teams, I wasn't with it. Like I couldn't play the game. We would start games and be like, oh, this dude's not on there anymore. Gotta quit. Or you gotta take him out, bro. Like,
yeah. Like if it's a because
non-updated roster.
Well, exactly. I was gonna say because nowadays Madden will like update it. Like, yeah, okay, I get what you're saying.
Hey, even Madden, like when the Madden year used to end, and that's right when the NFL draft.
Yeah, you wouldn't even play that game no more. You wouldn't even play that.
I would go create all the rookies I wanted to create, bro, and like throw them on the game while during the off season before the new game came out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was just, man, Pops created a monster. Created a monster.
Okay. I think we kind of put a bow on it, but because I want to get into, I want to let you know, Playmakers, we are going to continue doing, putting out content. This thing doesn't stop. You know what I'm saying? It's going to slow down a tad bit. Maybe we'll probably come out. I do want to come out with an episode next week after week 17 and discussing the playoff picture, because the playoff picture will be full.
Oh yeah, we get to break down real football now.
And
finally.
but also we're gonna do that playoff league.
Oh hell yeah!
Again, we're doing it.
Definitely, it's that time, bro. The action's just beginning.
Oh yeah, because you know what's dope is that like the playoff league takes us all the way to the Super Bowl, and then we really only have a couple months. Then and then it's the draft, and it's free agency. Then it's the draft, and then you know what I mean. Like this thing's not gonna stop. This thing is gonna keep moving. And we're gonna continue to grow and expand our horizon. You know what I'm saying? The fantasy playmakers, we're going universe wide.
Oh yes, we're you know what I'm saying? We can't stop, won't stop.
Take that. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I wanted to get that out the way. Is there anything? Okay. How about this? Is there any update on any other thing besides Fantrax for that playoff league? Like, why the fuck doesn't Yahoo doesn't do it? Because they go full force into like basketball and shit, huh?
Yeah, Yahoo doesn't. Yeah, they don't do any kind of playoff thing, and then you can't customize it. So, Fantrax can be perfected, but it's always been that's always been the one that we've used, only because it's the only one that offers that. I feel like that kind of like a playoff. You know what I mean? Fantasy. So, I mean, I'm open to looking for new ones, but I mean, I don't know of any other ones. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll make it work. It was poorly run last year, but you know what? We'll make it work this year.
Yeah.
Just the waivers. The waivers were an issue. I will admit that.
Yeah, we're gonna figure out all the kinks. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna figure it out because, like, you know what I'm saying, like we're gonna have more than 8 individuals this year, I think. Whereas, like, I don't know if like a super. Well, actually, with the amount of teams that get into the playoffs, maybe 8 or 10 would be like the most, huh?
Yeah, you don't really want to go more than that.
Yeah, and we can't necessarily do because obviously that's a winner takes all type of shit because it's a battle royal. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or a battle royale. You know what I mean? It's tomato.
Yes, sir. Yeah, oh, you mean tomato, potato?
Potato, tomato. You know what I mean?
Nobody says tomato, bro.
I sure do. I went to McDonald's.
No, you don't.
I was at McDonald's earlier. It's the same way. I don't say McDonald's. I say McDonald's. You know what I mean? Tomato. I was at McDonald's talking about, you know what I mean? Hold the tomato.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I sure was.
No, you weren't, bro. You said hold the tomato. But you know what? I like your version better.
Man, okay. So, I just want to touch on a few more things. In the GKL, all right, my moves were actually...
The Gurus Keeper League?
My moves were actually tamed.
Your moves?
Oh yeah, they were tamed for like what my normal outlook on my normal projection of moves was definitely the under hit, right?
I can't say that with confidence.
Yeah, I made like 70 moves only, I think.
75. Still led the league by far. You and your cousin.
Yeah, but we see, check this out.
Last year you were at like 110.
This is why I bring it up though, because I feel like you when you're sitting in our waiver format, with you sitting at the top, you were able to acquire so many guys. Like this league was sleep this year, and when it comes to that aspect.
Yeah, but not really. Like, you know me, I'm like I used
Devontae Parker.
Yeah, but I think I jumped on him a week before, or like the first week he went off, where it's like no one really would have bought into it. You know what I mean? So I really don't even know why or how I have him, but yeah, they were sleeping. They were sleeping a little bit.
Thank you, because
but that he might. I gotta have to look. He might have been a guy I didn't even make a claim for. Like I just picked up.
See?
Because I do that with a lot of people, where I just will grab them like.
Because I'll tell you this much.
Before the game.
I totally would see what's going on with Parker, and I was just like, I'm not touching him. Like, that was just, I'm already fixated like that. You know what I mean? Like, he showed me I was wrong, right? Like, Parker was like, oh yeah? Hold my beer. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm just saying, like, it was like, it's just crazy. Like for example, like, all right, shout out to Allen, but like, damn, you cut Tevin Coleman and don't secure like Raheem Mostert. You just outright cut him. You know what I mean? or like little shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like where people is just like they're leaving too many things out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that it's uncharacteristic of the league in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were kind of. I mean, to be honest, the GKO is kind. I don't want to say it's like they're not as savvy as some of them. Like you and Hernandez, you guys are on it, but like the rest of them are a little bit more tamed. I feel like. Like that's not a diss either. It's just like I see it. Like it's like Nancy and Kali and like even Justin. Like Justin, he'll make pickups and stuff, but I never really like. I don't know. It's just like always the chalk. Like they're always picking up the chalk. You know what I mean? Like they're not the savvy looking into things or like seeing a guy like Devontae Parker and thinking like, oh, he's on Miami. You know, it's trash. It's all trash.
Yeah, and I remember
it's like I see Fitzmagic in there going to be slinging it, and I'm like, oh, Parker's his guy. Like that's. I mean, it's like I don't know. I don't. They aren't really like even like Aurelio too. Like him. Like they're not like.
Yeah, that's the one thing too with Aurelio's like, you know, like I'm never gonna like tap a guy on the shoulder and be like, yo, you know what I mean? But it's like when a motherfucker is winning. And then, like, their winning ways go away, they don't do anything.
They go away.
Yeah. Like,
dude, there's a guy that used to be in the Eastside League, and I will refrain from naming his name. He's friends with the professor and Rob and all them. He used to be in this league, and it's like he would start off hot, like all the time, get 4-2, and then he would just tank, and you would never hear from him again. And his season, that's how a lot of fantasy managers are. Like if they're doing good, they're engaged. As soon as they start like tanking, they check out. And when I love people that check out because I'm never checking out. So like when you're checking out, you're leaving opportunity for me there to grab a guy that I probably shouldn't have been able to get.
I feel it,
you know
but what pisses me off is that like they don't realize how selfish that is. It's like you're letting other motherfuckers like get W's on you. You know what I mean? Because it's like maybe it's because me being me, like a villain, whereas like. You know what I mean? Like they could be checked out, and they're like they see me on the docket.
You know why you're a villain? I want to touch real quick on that.
Yeah.
You're not a villain, but you know why you have that label, and I have the same label? It's because we give a fuck way more than everyone else, and we never stop. We will never stop fighting, and kicking and screaming until we're done. And like
yeah, and then as a collective, they want to see us lose. Like,
of course, and like we're always stacking. Like we're always building. We're always trying to improve. Like. We never quit, and it's a lot of energy that they're not willing to really do into fantasy football. Those are the guys I really love because you're half in, kind of half out, and those guys they don't really win, and I don't ever want to see them win.
You know what's funny too is like a lot of times people tell me they go, "Well, you got all this time on your hand. That's why you're so good," and I'm like, "What?" I'm like, I beg to differ because I could bring up the countless managers that like. Don't give a fuck, and they'll basically auto draft to a degree, you know what I mean, and just like have a chalk roster, and like barring injuries, they'll be okay. You know what I mean? Like I'm the type of guy who will curve Julio Jones every year because I don't want to deal with Julio's it's not consistency. He's consistent. He's consistent.
Questionable.
He's consistent. I was about to say he's consistent at being all the negative things that tie in with him. He's consistent at being like questionable. He's consistent about being injury prone. He's consistent at having the off games and then the huge games where it's like you know what I mean. Like I need a per game basis guy like what sucks is Michael Thomas is now he's gonna be in that Antonio Brown range. Where people were grabbing Antonio Brown when he was with the Steelers, you know what I mean? Like
right.
it's odd that people haven't even been putting DeAndre Hopkins in that for the past couple years. You know what I mean? Like these guys are top 5 picks to me. Julio's never gonna be that to me. You know what I mean? Like Julio belongs where he is in that 1-2 turnaround. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But then it's like, yeah, you're happy to get him there. But I'll never be happy to bank on him as my number 1. If he's my number 2, for sure. You know what I mean? But it's like, Yeah, like in your case, like, you know, having Nuke and then Julio, you love that shit. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, granted, you're more of a Julio guy. You know, and if I'm correct, I take it you're more of a Julio guy than you are a Nuke guy going into this season.
I mean, I have more history with Julio, but I was never like I've been off him for a few years just because I don't know. I just haven't really been like I need Julio. You know, he's always going higher than where I was willing to take him in the first round. Like for you know, it was nice to have. I've never had either of those guys. Like I had Julio when he was like a rookie. I was all over him. I was like, fuck yeah, this dude's gonna fucking beast. Like Roddy White's getting old. Like I was all over Julio.
Yeah, like, Roddy White was still getting. Julio was part of the fraternity for me. Oddly enough, but I'm never on him. But it was a team I took over in my first title run. It was the team I took over and had Julio there. You know what I mean?
Shout out Big Pooty.
Yeah, quitter.
Hey, how come Pooty ain't in none of your leagues, bro?
Because he's in one of my leagues, and like, cause he's in my nice guys finish last league. You know what I'm saying? And like, he's had success a couple times. Like,
Pooty's a nice guy.
Like I said, nice guys finish last. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks for catching my drift.
Yeah, no, but see, here's the thing: is Pooty for years would just be like okay. It's hard this particular band of idiots, right? It's hard to congregate them on a date, like live. So like I always have to find a medium and everyone drafts online, right? I find the medium between everyone, you know, like a great commissioner would. But like he would be like, yeah, that day's good. Then the day would come and he'd be like, guys, I'm at work. And like he would just auto draft, and it would be like, bruh, I swear you're at home and you're just letting it auto draft. Like I swear, you know what I mean? And like everyone called him the auto draft, like that was his nickname. Like,
fuck, and he probably did good that year.
No, he did trash every time. Like,
okay, good.
But then there was the 1 year he finally did good. The 1 year he finally did good, he actually drafted his team because it was 3 years of being called the auto drafter, because he literally auto drafted 3 years. And then like in this case, it was like okay, how about this? The first round, right? First round.
You can draft on your phone nowadays.
Yeah, I know, but it's like that's what I'm saying. Like, but here's the thing: the first round, who was it? I think he grabbed Gronk, right? And this is 2016. It's 2016. 2016.
Right.
He grabs Gronk, and then on the quick turnaround, he grabbed Todd Gurley. And it's like Todd Gurley was like a third, fourth round value at best that year, right? But it was the first Sean McVay year. So it was like he hit on Todd Gurley. Oh, and then I remember it was like in the fourth or fifth round, he picked up Tevin Coleman, and Devontae Freeman was out like 8 games that year. So he had like these, so like he was on the back of these 2 running backs. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just, oh, and then he had Matt Ryan that year. You know what I mean? Where it was like, that was Matt Ryan's MVP. Yeah. So it was like, he had like it was just one of those things like, yeah, that was the first time he drafted, and he swore, he talked shit all year. Yeah, who auto drafted now? And this and that. It was like, but everybody busted his balls because it was like, you know, like no one in their right mind would have grabbed Gurley right there. Maybe the third at most. You know what I mean? Because it was like, he was coming off such a trash year. Like, what was the inkling? Like, it wasn't like he was like, oh my God, Andrew Whitworth just got picked up in free agency. That left tackle. Like, no, he was
Todd Gurley.
No.
Like Todd Gurley.
No. And Pootie's a Niner fan. So it's like, and you notice this with a lot of managers, they draft within their division of the team they like because they swear those guys are the best. Oh yeah, dog, you know what I'm saying? Todd Gurley, dog, you know, he does it to the Niners, you know what I mean? Like, no, we're not the best team in the world. Like, so everyone that does something to us, you know what I mean? Like, shout out to Nancy, like, his team is going to be chock full of NFC East guys or former NFC East guys. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. It's funny. I love watching people's fantasy football is kind of like behavioral science. Like you see people's tendencies. You see, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, for sure. You could tell. You can kind of learn a lot about people from fantasy football for sure.
Yeah, like you know what pisses me off is like when people they could be trash and then they want to get up for a week that they're playing against me. When it's like really anybody who knows me well enough, you know there's a high likelihood that I fuck myself up. Like, you know what I mean? So like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can remember more L's where I made a poor manager decision from overthinking something than someone just outright beating my ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the hard part of the game, those decisions, bro. Especially when you got all this information.
I know, right? Because and that's probably why the people that they fly by the seat of their pants, you know what I'm saying, that you know that don't know shit, because it's like, you know what I mean? They're just like, oh, I like you know what's funny? Someone was asking me about Devontae Freeman this week. And I was like, oh no, they're playing the Jags, bro. That's a smash play. Like the Jaguars defense it's like top tier, bro. And I'm like, when? When? They're like, yeah, bro, Saxonville. I'm like, they were Saxonville for a season. You know what I mean?
2 years ago.
Yeah, like, but it's just funny how like, or like anybody who ends up with Tom Brady as their quarterback in fantasy, like you're just a fucking idiot. Because you're like, he's the best, bro. You know one time the first, remember that one time you brought the Swindler over here and we got hella drunk, and Justin was here too. We got hella faded off a bottle of Tito's, and then he made that crazy ass bet, the Zeke bet with me. Yeah. Okay. So check this out. It's funny because that day he's kind of testing my football gangster. You know what I mean? And then he's like steady testing my fantasy gangster. And I remember he goes, Tom Brady. He's a good quarterback. He's like, is he the best quarterback? I go, yeah, as far as accolades, but I'm like, in fantasy, I'm never touching him. And he laughed. He's like, oh, like it was some kind of test or something. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not a fucking schmuck. You know what I mean?
You gotta prove it before they believe it.
It's true.
You know what I mean? So he learned the hard way though.
But you know what's funny too is it's the same for everybody else. Like in the Eastside League, like you the Alexes of the world, like yo, you live in this. This is your fantasy bubble. This is the one league that that I know that you exist in. You know what I mean? Where it's like. You know, it's like, for instance, like you come into the TFL, you kept making it a point all year, like, well, you can do this and that because you know everyone. You know what I mean? And like, I get that, because if when you're outside of the core like group in leagues, you know what I mean? Like if you're not friends with some of these motherfuckers, it's kind of an uphill battle unless you draft well or if you got what people want. So in this case. Last year, it was like, man, I can't get anything going. No one, like, I start off losing. No one wants to trade me. They dubbed me the bye week, and they just let me fall apart because I didn't have any quarterbacks, super flex, blah, blah, blah. This year, I got everything, and then no one wants to fuck with me because they want to keep me on how they know me. You know what I mean? Like, don't help the bye week. You know what I mean? Like,
the Eastside League has never been pro, like, aggressive negotiations. The only guy that was like that was Haynock, and that's why it was kind of stale without him this year, because he sets it off, and you know what I mean. But like when there's not those guys that set it off, like it gets stale. That's just it gets frustrating. But like you got to learn to win that without having to make trades. You know what I mean? Because it does help when you can move shit, but like it's hard sometimes, and when they don't want to fuck with you because of like a reputation. Then it sucks, bro. Like my brother, bro, my own brother. I can't get a trade done with him to save my life, and it's not because I come at him with bad offers. It's because he just won't fuck with me. Period. Because of all the fuckery we've done over the years. Like we haven't done a trade in a while, and it's like it's. I hate that shit, to be honest. I rip him all the time. I go, yeah, you draft good, but you just sit on your fucking ass all year. You don't do jack shit.
Yeah, And like what's crazy too is because like it's rare that there's 4 to 5 teams when you get into week 4 that are all on the losing side of things. Because just mathematically, like for instance, after week 1, half the league is 0-1. You know what I mean?
Factually correct.
Right? So it's rare that you get to the end of the first quarter of the year and there's a bunch of super wounded teams. Like it's almost like never the case where you get to there's 4 undefeated teams and there's 6 undefeated teams and there's 6 winless teams. By the time you get to week 4, you rarely ever see that. So it's like
right.
because the reason I bring this up is because those teams that are losing in the beginning, they're the ones that want to make moves. You know what I mean? And what's crazy is I always try to approach the other losing team. Like if I'm in that boat, or even if I'm not in that boat, I'm trying to get what the losers have. Or if I'm a loser in that case, I'm trying to trade with other losers and I'm trying to sell it on bro, we need to make these moves so we can elevate each other. You know what I mean? It's just funny because people I don't know. Maybe it's coward shit. Maybe trades should be mandated. I don't know. I'm I don't know. Maybe I'm just complaining because in that league, motherfucker, I really got to draft and have a killer draft in that league next year, so I won't have any discrepancies with motherfuckers trying to for example, all the trade for the life of me, I was trying to move Mark Andrews, and it's it really took 7 weeks of production, and a guy lost his tight end, and now he's okay. And then still try to lowball me when I have a top 5 tight end. You know what I mean? It was just it's just funny.
No, I'll be honest. If I was in your boat, or if I was trying to trade with you, I would lowball you too. If I was in a position where I see you're down with the ball, you're struggling a little bit, I'm doing good, you got a tight end that you cannot play every week, I'm not going to overpay for him.
Yeah, and then you know what too? Okay, I'll give you that much because I almost guarantee, actually I 100% guarantee, we're going to get to that draft next year and there's going to be some adjustment that is unbeknownst to everyone, just like it was this year.
It will be announced. It will just be it'll be up to everyone to remember. There's no changes that happen without you guys being told.
You mean there's no changes that will happen without anyone voting?
It's not a democracy.
Yeah, that's trash. But you can't.
You
can't actually. You know what it is?
People don't like change, bro. I told you that because people don't like change.
So you just change it. You just change it unbeknownst to people.
Well, we did. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
It was a stark. It was
But it's not but you have to understand. If something gets changed, it's not for my benefit. It's not for anybody's benefit. It's for competitive balance, to have a fair league. That's the only reason it's changed, because when I've done it before, and people don't want to, if we put it to a vote, hey, let's change this. No, change is bad. That's all you get from people, bro. That's all you get from people. Nobody ever wants to change nothing. So you can put it to a vote, but they're just very narrow-minded. Everybody's narrow-minded, which is why I never gave people much of an option. That's unfair to say. I did give people a vote, but when it comes to roster sizes, not really, because y'all don't really know what it should be. And I have an algorithm in my head. That sounds cocky, maybe kind of arrogant and all that.
No, you literally have. It's not even in your head. You literally create an algorithm on your computer and.
No, not even. But if you go from 14 to 12 teams, if the rosters stay the same, then it needs to be adjusted. That's the only change that happened. So going from 12 teams, 14 teams to 12.
Yeah, but then adding no, it's not the only one. Then you add a mandatory 4th receiver. You add a mandatory 3rd running back. You get rid. You swap that out for a regular flex. Only have a super flex. It was just it was just, I don't know. It was one of those things. Hold on, we got to get the goo back on the line. Anyways, yeah, while we're getting the goo back on the line, you know what I'm saying? I just want to say that league's so trash. And for the amount of money, the winner doesn't even get a thou out. That shit's fucking whack. Or not the amount of money, the amount of heads. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, let me go get the goo back online. Oh, there he is. There he is. Where's he at? Hold on. Let me get this man on the line. Okay, now we're getting the goo back on the line. Where you at, goo? Come back to me, goo.
I was going off on a good one right there.
It's funny, too, because the phone cut off, right? And I go, all right, now that it's cut off, that league's trash. I was like,
hey, no. That's a gold league, my brother.
You want
That's a gold league over there.
No, it is. No.
Not trash.
Let me tell you why it's trash.
Not trash.
Let me tell you why it's trash. The winner doesn't even get a solid stack. That's so fucking whack.
It's $100 buy-in.
Give the motherfucker $1,000.
What did they get? $950 or something like that? Or no, not even.
No.
Something like that.
What was your second place? You know, no, let's not talk money. I don't like talking money. I'm just saying.
Hey, you know what? That was another thing. I want to up the buy-in over there next year a little bit, just a little bit. Because 100, it's kind of like 12 teams, a $1,200 pot to give first place a stack. That that means
you know what though? I like that league to not be 14 team. I think 14 team league super flex. Well, was that the first time you guys did a 14 team league super flex with me last year?
It was.
Yeah, because
it was supposed to be that way this year until people fell out at the draft.
But see, doesn't it make sense? That's why there were so many fucking trades made.
Well, I mean, it was an act. I mean, yes and no.
Aside from Hinnock being there, like
I mean, he's just one of the guys that sets it off. And it's like people trust him and they talk to him and like I tell you, people won't fuck with me just because I'm me. Like a lot of times, like, they just won't. Just like you, like sometimes they won't fuck with you because you're you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the TKL, I didn't even bother trying to make trades really at all this year because I just knew it wasn't really going to happen for me. Even in the TFL, like that kind of was my demise because I kind of came to the mindset that like, fuck, I'm not really going to get nothing done. These are your people, and like I'm seeing you get every deal done and under the sun, and like I can't get nothing done. I'm throwing good offers out.
But here's the thing too. It's not that you didn't know everyone. I'll say this 100% because you know why I say this, because it's the same case as when I was doing bad in your league. Ain't nobody want to help the guy doing bad. You know what I mean? And like then it gets even worse if like the guys on the bottom don't want to do no work with you neither. You know what I mean? Pause.
Yep. Yeah. It is what it is. You know, you got to learn to adapt from that. And that's what I tried to do. Didn't happen over there. But, you know, that's like when you can pick up the phone and call anyone in the league and have a conversation with them, that's an advantage. Like, that's a big advantage. Because just being able to talk, like, if you're just doing everything through text or through an offer on the app or whatever, like, there's no, you can't sell them.
Here's the thing.
Sell them. Like,
Did you attempt to do that? Like, text fools? Like, you know, you had all the numbers in the thread. Did you attempt to text fools? Because, like, I did. In the Eastside League, when it was a 14-team league, I did that shit every fucking day.
And that's why I love you. And that's why I love you.
Like, I was texting motherfuckers like, yo, this is me.
I didn't really do it over there. I don't know why. I just kind of, I didn't feel like I was going to be able to get anything without giving up Watson or Mahomes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's all.
No, but see, remember when you were talking about you had a mindset made up. You had the mindset made up that you weren't going to come off of Mahomes or Watson. Then at one point there was a glimmer where you were like trying to move Watson. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like Mahomes gets hurt, so it's like Watson's off the table. You know what I mean? Where it was like, you know, there was opportunities there. Like you even gave me we had a juicy trade on the table that would have benefited both of us because we were both in the same boat at that particular time. And like, you specifically said something to me. You were like, and I think it was, if I remember correctly, I think it was Jared Goff was going to be part of the deal. And you were like, it was like Michelle and Goff and like OBJ for like Hardman, Watson, and Montgomery. And you were like, bro, nobody, this is super flex. Nobody is going to give you the second best quarterback because I have the number 1 and 2. Because that's what it stood at the time. Like you had like, maybe not production wise at the time, but as it stood, the way people viewed
in theory.
Yeah, the way people viewed them too. You know what I mean? Like, where it was just like, fuck. And like, me being me, telling you all these things about him, about Watson, like, yo, bro, he hasn't thrown the ball more than 25 times and this and that and blah, blah, that line and is banged up and blah, blah, blah. And remember, Nuke was doing so bad. And I was like, I was on that hype so tough to try to like, what's the word? Lodge him from your grasp. And then when it became a real thing, I was like, I don't want that guy. He only throws the ball like not even 25 times a game. And you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it was that league. I learned a lot this year. But those super flex leagues, they get me, bro. They do get me because that quarterback shit will fuck with you.
Yeah,
and that's what it did over there. That's what it did. It fucked with my head over there.
I am like an avid fan of Superflex now because I love trading. And like Superflex leagues will provoke trading like no other because people, they can't see themselves without multiple quarterbacks or like without like, you know what I mean? Like they're quick to move up off a court. Like for instance, Trubisky was dropped at one point. You know what I mean? Like, where it's like, even though Trubisky was trash, like, you don't drop a guy like that in Superflex. You know what I mean? No. Like, you know what I'm saying?
All quarterbacks have value in Superflex.
Yeah. I wouldn't know. I picked up Andy Dalton and didn't start him for the win in the chip. No, but see, I say that jokingly now because, man, I'm going to keep repeating myself because it's the truth. There's no way he would have made it into my lineup. So that's why I'm not, like, sulking like a motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, if I'm fortunate enough to be in championship games next year, I will look hard and serious at matchups like that. So if I got like a bad quarterback
or
in a
just
great spot,
an injured quarterback on the throwing shoulder, like that alone, like, and like I even went back to the Rams game to go find the play that he got hurt. And it was pretty early on. It was like early in the third, if I remember correctly, where it was like, and by then he had his 202. You know what I mean? He had his 200 yards and his 2 touchdowns, and that was nothing. So it's been literally nothing since he got injured. You know what I mean? Like, where it was like, mind you, of course, hindsight's 2020. You know what I mean? But it's like a lot of the stuff I do is to try to see the hindsight beforehand. I try to hit every angle, and it's like, it's always the obvious where it's like, like for instance, I got all the correct diagnosis, and then I'm like, well, ride with the guy that got me here. You know what I mean? When it's like, that's such a trash fucking way of looking at shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like for example,
it's kind of just simplifies and dumbs it down.
Like, I remember one year, one of the years I won, it was like Kareem Hunt, Melvin Gordon, Michael Thomas, and everyone else, and Travis Kelce. Everyone else in my lineup, every week, I'm shuffling them fuckers around. You know what I'm saying? I'm just spot starting hell shit until one point I landed on Rex Burkhead, and then he ended up getting hurt, and then Dion Lewis became a thing, and then Dion Lewis. Then I remember when Rex Burkhead got hurt, and it was Dion Lewis. I was like, yo, this is the championship week now, right? And I'm like, there's no Burkhead. I'm like, fuck it, I'm picking up Mike Gillislee. Because I'm like, as a flex, like, it's just one of those things, like, this is just like any other week. Like, that's how I viewed it all the time. Week 16, yeah, it's the championship week, but it's still like any other week. If I need a spot starter guy, I will do it. And in this case, it was just like, I don't know. The sexy flexy team was just so sexy. It was like, keep the band together. You know what I mean? Like, don't let this fucking non-fly ginger in there. You know what I mean?
Hey, I'm looking forward to redemption over there next year.
Yeah, me too. You know what I'm saying? Especially because, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know what really, really pissed me off? Like, because I was a victim of CMC in the chip. And like, when I look back to the first pick overall, went to Barkley, right? And my man, shout out to JT Money, when he picked up Barkley, I was laughing and I'm like, you're just a fucking last season chasing motherfucker. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you were gonna chase last season, go with the more likelihood of it with CMC. You know what I mean? Because no one was gonna grab Zeke first, second, or third. I think, matter of fact, he went like fourth, right? Because I think
no, because I know I took Mahomes fourth over one CMC.
Okay, so he went fifth then. Because
let me see, I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Because it definitely
Zeke went third. Went Saquon, Kamara, Zeke.
Yep. And see, that's the thing too is Barkley. Shout out to JT Money. He gets Barkley. Then my cousin. This is what pissed me off the most because my cousin got Kamara right there, and I was like, I hated Kamara. He's a CMC guy, and I had Kamara and Barkley not finishing in the top 5. You know what I mean? Where it was like, I don't know. It was crazy because especially for my cousin, who's a Niner, who loved Norv Turner. He was a Norv Turner truther, and it's like, he's a CMC guy. So now it's like, here's Norv Turner with CMC. You know what I mean? Like, and he's right there, and you didn't get him, and then the guy got him and beat me in the chip with him. Fuck that.
Yeah, that was a brutal one. But I said, there's always next year.
You know why I love that you said that? Because we'll wrap this up. But I love that you said that because, you know what I'm saying? The last time someone said that to me, I went on to win the next year. You know what I mean?
Hey, there you go.
Oh yeah, because
you're guaranteed you're gonna win something next year, my friend.
Bro, you know what? I don't want to jinx myself, but I'm gonna find myself in some Super Bowl. I do it every year. You know what I mean? This is just that. But whether you want to call it consistent or not, like, you know what I'm saying? And then also too, dog, is like, I'm gonna kick everyone's ass in that fucking Eastside League. Like when I got to a point where I was like, okay, like when here's the thing is like with the IDPs, they kill me early because I'm too name brand driven early before it's like I got all this data. Like by week 5, you got all this data. It's like, okay, I can spot start guys that people, because they're really floating around out there. Like, you know,
there's money out there every week, and if you know what you're doing, you're gonna find points.
Like, yeah, you want to talk about chalk in that league? Everyone's IDPs are chalk. They're all like name guys. You know what I mean? They're all starters. They're not getting no rotational guys that are hitting. They're just like, I need. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy to me because, like, and that's where I can see why you threw that in there.
Because there's no, you can't, like those guys that you said, just throw, like you have to be on your shit. And if you're on your shit,
I've seen motherfuckers give up the house to get, I mean, to give up the house to get like a Cleo Mack or a fucking.
Oh, that's one of my favorite things. Like you draft some high name players and then dangle them, and they like bite. They bite all the time. Darius Leonard, I drafted Darius Leonard just to trade him.
He was a beast. It was a sophomore year, so it's like, you know what I mean?
No, even I expected him to be a beast again this year, but I just knew I could cash out on him. That was the whole thing. Like,
true, because he was a hot name that everyone will remember.
He was the number 1 linebacker, and he went nuts. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
he was beat up all year. So, but yeah, he was one of those guys that's like, I'll any day of the week I will grab a high defensive end like a name, and then trade him in for offense. Try to get an upgrade offensive player. You know what I mean? And then go, because there's always defensive money out there.
Yeah, that's
always
abundant.
money. It's so much money, and like a Zadarius Smith. I seen him out there sitting on 34 this week. Like, he put up a 34 piece.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, man, I could have, like, if I had just had the defensive players the right combo, I'd have fucking smashed this week.
You know what's funny? I want to bring something up because Zadarius Smith is one of those names. When I was on him, you're like, who the fuck is Zadarius Smith? And
I had no idea who he was at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and I was like, bro, he was one of the hottest free agency pickups. Like, he was like, especially going on Mike Penton defense, you know what I mean? Where I was like, yo, this guy, they're just going to have him screaming off the edge every time. Because they also had Preston Smith there, too. And, like, but here's the thing, is like, out of the two, I thought, I like, the eye test. The eye test for me was always Zadarius Smith. You know what I'm saying? Where I was like, but see, he had like 2 good games, and then I remember it was one of those shows where you're like, hey, bro, what are you doing in that league? You're like, what are you doing in that league? Like, what are you fooling around with this Zadarius Smith? Who the fuck is that? And I'm like, bro, he's a beast. I remember I dropped him because I was like, yeah, fuck that guy. And then like he just went on this tear, like, and I was like,
that's the thing though. Like, I swear to you, when you get too loyal to your defense in that league, it fucks you. Like, you got to literally change them out every week.
Oh, yeah. No, you ain't lying.
Like, because it's like, you know, like, if you sat on Zadarius Smith, he had some hitter weeks, but then he also had a bunch of dud weeks, too. So, like, if you're sharp enough to, like...
Hey, he really had, like, 5 sacks today, huh? Or 4 sacks?
Something like that. And you know the Eastside League's pretty much a sack league. Like, if you get one of those sack masters, like, fuck, those, like, that's how you...
In other IDP leagues... Is that normal that they make the sack 5 points, or is that just the Eastside League thing?
That's the Eastside League thing. It's all weighted. It's all weighted. Like, I tried to make it to where it's like, I think sacks are like a point more than they really should be, but
they could be like a slate. It could be a slate breaker.
That's a defensive touchdown for a defensive lineman, or you know what I mean. Like, that's a touchdown for them. Like, to get home. Like, a tackle is a tackle. You know, it's 1 point. You know what I mean? But you get that sack, that interception, that's like your touchdown right there. So you got, you know.
I like that. See, I'm not mad at that. Because the likelihood of a sack, you know what I mean? Like, it is as unpredictable as a touchdown for real.
Right. Like, and if you think about it, the top sack guys are like 15 to 20 sacked every year.
Yeah,
same thing with touchdowns.
It's very volatile. It's very volatile.
Exactly. And if you look at it, like a guy like Aaron Donald last year, everyone, Aaron Donald might be the best player in the game. All this shit.
Yeah, this year, trash.
Right? Not this year, last year.
No, I know. I'm saying this year, trash. So it's like.
Yeah. But it's like, but when you're that good and like, you don't like I want, like that, he had like a 5 sack game. Oh, it was against the Niners, right?
Yeah, and Steven started him against me. I remember that.
Yeah, he put up like 44. And it's like, that's as big a game for a defensive end. That's like having a 200-yard game for a wide receiver.
I remember beating him by 40 points. And like, yeah. I remember.
And he had that?
Oh, yeah. And then he had Aaron Donald bring him back.
Oh, yeah. It's tough to watch happen when you know what I mean? But it's you know defensive players. You're on your shit. You know trash lines. Like,
yeah.
It's different, but you know what I mean? It's that's a whole other side of the ball. There's a lot of talent, a lot of money over there. So I'm just over team defenses though. I'm not really a fan of team defenses.
I love it.
Well, it's what everyone knows. That's all That's all anyone knows. So it's, you know, I get it. I don't hate it. I'm just like, it's kind of chalk to me because there's always defense. It's like kickers to me because there's always going to be a matchup somewhere. Like, yeah, I don't know. They're cool. It's part of football.
I think
football, but there's not much thought that goes into a team defense.
Here's my argument against that. Is first of all, I hate kickers in leagues, right? And 2, I like defenses if you skew them, if you soup them up. You know what I mean? Like give them a point if they stop on a 4th down. You know what I mean? Give them a point for every 25 yards return. Like you know what I'm saying? Like put some extra on it, or else do without it and put hella IDPs. You know what I mean? Because like for example, you know what I'm saying? Like when you told me about the, a sack is 5 points, so it's like their touchdown. Okay, I get that. You know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying? It's not like we're gonna on a team defense we're gonna juice up the sack total. You know,
right.
like points for a sack. No, we're gonna keep it how it is. But with team defenses, I think maybe it's because as a whole I could diagnose shit better. Maybe I think that's what it is. You know what I mean? Even though with player, like for instance, cornerbacks. You know what I'm saying? Like it's easy. It's easier. If you're gonna start a DB in an IDP in the Eastside League, right? I would look at it like, okay, I'm not getting, it's rare you're gonna get like the Stephon Gilmore's or the top tier, the Xavier Woods at the time, or whoever the fuck's the top tier.
Those guys
corner.
are actually usually trash in that league.
Yeah, because they're not gonna get the opportunity of the ball being thrown at them because they're that
right.
good. Yeah, so
right.
I'm looking at the guys that get picked on. Like a couple times this year, I started some Eagles corners because they're getting a whole lot of balls thrown at them. You know what I mean? So it's at least, and then if they're not picking the ball off or they're not great in coverage, at least you'll get a lot of chances of them getting tackles because they're going to be balls thrown their way. They're going to have to stop these guys. You know what I mean? And then I started looking at like guys like linebackers. You know what I mean? Like if I'm going to have a linebacker in that league, it's got to be someone who doesn't just stop the run. You know what I mean? Because like how many?
There's two types you got to get. Like you get your safe floor guys, which is like your middle linebackers.
Yeah, the guys who
rack
stop
up your 8+ tackles, get you a nice short 10. Or you chase the big guys who can get you big plays, and sometimes they get you like 2 points. You know what I mean? So it's like you can play it safe, but you're not gonna. There's no like big reward for those guys.
Yeah, like I almost like. You know what's my favorite, dog? I feel like if you could locate these guys, like your Eddie Jacksons, your Derwin Jameses, like the free safeties.
Oh yeah, that's actually been my thing for a long time. I'd always plug safeties in those spots.
Yeah,
because they're getting tackles and they can make a play.
Yeah, and exactly, and they'll rush the quarterback if the coach calls it. You know what I mean? Like I love. And see, that's the one thing, too, is like, after 2 years in that league, I started to learn shit like that. Like, okay. Like, of course, like, I'm always getting the trash guys or the guys that people look at as trash. Like for instance, like, Jadeveon Clowney and, like, Marcus Davenport and, like, Jared Davis. They're not household names. And maybe Clowney, I guess, to a degree, but they're not but like, they're always racking up tackles. They're always, going after the quarterback. So it's like, okay. And like when I don't know if to say figured it out, but when I was like, okay, like I went on that little 4-week winning streak. You know what I mean?
You finished strong over there.
Yeah, but that's like the Dolphins, like for years with Tannehill. You know what I mean? Like you don't be trash all year and then fuck up your draft pick in the end. You know what I mean? Like hella teams are like that over the years, right? Like the Browns were like that last year. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like you get set ablaze when it's really not. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like
Team SMD.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
I think that's enough for tonight.
Yeah. It was almost hard to let it go. Because then this puts a bow on the entire season. Playmakers, this is episode 37 of the Real Fantasy Playmakers. Follow us at the GMM Network. Follow me at Bogard Scott Free World. Follow my esteemed colleague, The Goo, at The Guru 408. Congratulations to all you guys that took down the chip. Congratulations to all y'all that made it and didn't get it. Don't give up. Keep fighting next year.
Make sure you stay tuned in, because it's gonna be back. Another year stronger. You know what I'm saying? So we, just pay attention. You might learn something.
Yeah, and Playmakers, we are gonna be back next week. You know what I'm saying? We got the Playoff Fantasy League coming up. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, stay tuned. You know what I'm saying? Look.
Yes, sir. we will.
Oh yeah. Hey, much love, playmakers. I don't see, even when I say that much love, it sounds like I'm saying it's like a farewell. We here. We'll see y'all. You know what I'm saying? Jamaicans.
Hey.
For sure. All right, Goo, tell them how you really feel.
Fucking professor, you son of a bitch. You fucking gifted CMC, you fucking white power motherfuckers. I swear to God.
For real, who the fuck makes that trade after week 2? And we're talking about week 2 was on a short week, bro. So it was like he was that upset from Sunday to Thursday.
It happened. It really happened.
Oh my God. You know what's?
But you know what? Lesson learned.
Hey, it's kind of like now. You know what's funny? I don't want to say I like that, but I like that we're kind of in the same boat where it's like I'm blaming the 3 people ahead of Hernandez that didn't get CMC. You know what I mean? You fucking fools.
And you could say the 4. You could say the 4. Put me in there. I drank
yeah,
the Mahomes.
No. I don't put you there because you were set on Mahomes.
Yeah, but that was my downfall. You know, but you know what?
How many?
I should have took a longer look at CMC once he fell.
You had Mahomes in a handful of other spots too, right? Your other like super
a couple of Shannon leagues. That was about it.
But you won those ones with him.
No, actually, I'm in.
That's right. I forgot you're in 10 leagues this year.
One's a week 17 playoff or final, which is trash. But yeah, so I have Mahomes in that one. That's about it.
That's the one where when Shannon was setting the leagues up, he was like, "Yeah, we need one that goes to 17." You know what I mean?
He don't. Yeah, he was so lost. He made a 10-team league, and 8 teams made the playoffs.
Oh my fucking God, dude! How mad?
He didn't know.
How the fuck mad are those 2 guys that didn't make it?
Who was one of them? I think the Bell Cow was one of them. No, he wasn't. Yeah, I'd be pissed.
Hey, real quick, what's this whole points against thing?
It's a fucking bullshit argument he makes every year. So you know what points against is, right?
Yeah, but like, what is he? He said, "Let's make this a points against league." Like, what is that a thing?
That's not a thing. He's just being a jackass.
Oh, okay.
He's always giving up a lot of points. So in every year he hollers about the points against because he's losing because teams are going off against him. It's that's his whole thing. And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
He's like,
it happens every year.
He's like my estranged brother because I didn't know that there was another someone who I don't think he's aware that
it's part of the Of Course series.
Exactly. I was about to say he suffers from the Of Course series.
Yes. No, he kind of does, but I mean, it happens to somebody every year.
No. No. Of course, it happens to him. You mean?
Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. Points against. Where was he at this year? 28. This motherfucker. He was middle. He was up there. But I mean, I was in
28. Like out of how many? Like
no. I'm talking about points. I'm looking at.
Oh.
Like he gave. Okay, so like in the Eastside League, Bell Cow gave up 28-39 on the year, right?
Yeah.
I gave up 27-38. So
I had to have beaten y'all in that. For sure I gave.
You gave up 25-35.
Wait, so that's less.
You gave up way less. So if had you actually scored more points, you would have been a dominating team.
Wow.
Yeah, but okay, like look at Alex, 28-52 points against, finishes 9-4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just there's randomness to the shit, but that's a weak ass excuse. Points against. I finished with high ass points against. Is
the commissioner still paying his way?
I don't know anything about that. I don't want to know anything about that. As long as the money's there in the pot, I'm good with it. But probably. Who knows?
No, I have nothing against it. I just want to know because he's talking a lot.
He's never told me anything. I've never heard.
You know what's funny? Oddly enough, I heard that from you.
Did I tell you that?
Yeah. You're like commish pays for this motherfucker.
Yeah, he might have did it last year. I don't know about this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe it was just last year because he was like a last minute filler, right?
Yeah, we were like desperate for one. That motherfucker, when we first started this league, he was in it. Every year, he would lose, and he'd be like, "Man, fuck this shit. This shit is rigged." And he would like literally say it like, "This shit is rigged," and meant it. That's why you seen today. I was like, "Man, fuck this league. I'm out next year. This shit is rigged."
Oh, and then he was the first to respond to it.
Yeah, because that was basically like a shot at him. Because he knew we make fun of him all the time. Like, "Oh, it's rigged." Yeah. And he's like, "It's fucking rigged, I swear." And like he quit. He quit for a couple years because he genuinely believed it was rigged.
Wow. You know what's funny is we already been stopped recording, right? But anyways, it's funny because I remember earlier in the year when I was still alive in that league, like well alive, like it's probably like week 2. I remember calling him, you know what I'm saying? Because he had texted me, "Hey man, I just listened to the show. Good shit, guys." I was like, "Cool." So then I was like, "Cool." I made it like, all right, yeah, all right, maybe he'll talk to me. You know what I mean? And I remember like trying to make a trade with him, and he was just like, he just deaded me. He's like, "Look, bro, I'm not gonna make any trades with you." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "I don't think I'll make any trades with anyone, dog, unless I'm." He goes, "Unless I'm the one like proposing it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Because then it was like, I appreciated the honesty because I was like, all right, we'll end this conversation now then. You know what I mean? I was like, because that's the only reason I'm fucking calling you, motherfucker. Trying to open some dialogue up. You know what I mean?
That's that narrow-minded shit. That's what I'm saying. Like, they're out. It's a very common thing in fantasy football. You know what I mean?
But it also could be just like playing it extremely safe. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's the same thing my brother does. He's like, he's just like, it's a safe thing. He's like, I don't trade studs. I don't do this. I don't do that. And he
leaves it all for his homeboy Rob.
Rob was a fucking fill-in at the draft this year. I swear to God, his application's being reviewed.
No, I remember that because it was, or even last year. Remember, it was like he had to break apart he had to leave the nest. With, you know what I'm saying? From under the bosom of the bell cow. You know what I mean?
The bell cow hates football. You just know that too. He hates football. He's a piece of shit. He told me, he goes, "I'm so glad football's over. I checked out in October."
Ah, that hurts. Why do you play?
Because he has to. He has no choice.
It's a love-hate
thing? It really is. You know why? Because like, I'm like super like balls to the wall NFL, and he's like contrarian to me always.
Oh, so okay. Like, what is he, like baseball than a motherfucker or something?
Loves baseball.
Okay, it makes sense. Because he likes to sit. You know why too? He likes
football's a lot of meatheads.
But also because baseball, it's a lot of hours to sit down and drink versus like football.
And it's late night every night.
Oh yeah, and it's also like early or during the day. When you're from the West Coast, this game's all day.
Oh yeah, no, he's a baseball guy. And when you're baseball, just like it's not baseball and basketball are less like chalk. Like you kind of like there's not like as much chalk.
Yeah, so he would argue that there's more skill involved.
Football's just a lot of monkeys pretty much playing, which I do agree with. But I mean, like I love the monkeys to be honest, because like they would pay the leagues, but like it's just a lot of chalk. It's a lot of chalk in football.
But also too, it's like football is more condensed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
There's literally 16 weeks, so it's like, you know what I mean? Like, how long is baseball from like spring until when is baseball?
Crazy. April to
October. Yeah, that's like almost all year. And like, if you're from the West Coast, you know what I'm saying? You go, like games will be on like at 10 in the morning and shit. Like games from the East Coast.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like you got baseball all day essentially if you wanted.
Yeah, it's a calmer. He's more of a. He's like a golfer. He's got the golf vibe to him. Football is not that. It's intense in your face, getting your grill.
There's a lot more time to sit and drink while you're playing golf too.
Oh, that motherfucker golfs like a motherfucker.
Does he?
Oh, he's good actually. He's pretty good.
You know what's funny is last year when I first met, I met him when he was a kid at your wedding actually, but like I remember last year, you know what I'm saying, I was like we're all talking a little fantasy, you know what I'm saying? Little, we're throwing out all these cliches, like I'm a zig when they zag, and you know what I mean? We're laughing, you know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing. I think he was just trying to test, because you kind of introduced me, or you kind of, not introduced me, you built me up. Rightfully so, though. Rightfully so.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, but then, I didn't follow through on the build-up, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, so they probably think I'm some fucking joke. But then at the same time, it was like, I remember talking to your brother, and I was like...
You got him the guru's stamp of approval, though,
Yeah, so they fucking hated... No, see, I just realized that right now. You gave me the stamp. It was like wearing the letter. It was like wearing the scarlet letter, god fucking damn it.
Yeah. I built you up tough going into that draft. I said, he's on his shit, guys. This motherfucker's on his shit.
Well, check this out. Okay, real quick. So I go to your brother. We're talking. And he goes, "Oh, so you play a lot of fantasy and this and that." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm trying to do this podcast." This was like last year shit, even. You know what I mean? And I go, "Yeah, bro." I really want. There's it's $7 billion industry, fantasy sports, just in its entirety. You know what I mean? I'm like, there's a lot. If I can get a percentage of that, I love it. You know what I mean? And I go, yeah, I really want to get into golf, but I just haven't got, I haven't brought myself to start like researching these motherfuckers and watching it so I can really know what the fuck I'm talking about. And then he busts out like, he's like, look at this, and he had some kind of lineup.
Yeah, we do golf drafts.
Yeah. I thought that was dope. I thought that was dope. I was like, okay, like, you know what I mean? Like, I actually... Okay, here's another thing, too, that I like about this year. Is that, maybe not so much Alex's text, but, when Alex texts me, oh, man, you got to listen to the show, man, that's dope, you guys keep it up, blah, blah, blah. But, when your brother would make comments like, great call on the Austin Hooper, what's his name? Dirk Cutter correlation. Like, I didn't realize that. Where it was just like, you know what I mean? Like little shit like that where it's like, okay, because that's what I want to do for playmakers. I want them to be able to if there's any kind of madness, something you could take from my madness, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? The coordinator shit has always been my niche. You know what I mean?
I've never given two fucks about coordinators.
I noticed that. Crazy. I noticed that.
Never have. But you know what? No lie, I've been in before the past 2-3 years, my fantasy career was in the dumps, bro. I was bad.
Yeah, so what you've done, your adjustments you made have been working. So it's kind of, you don't really need to welcome too many other strategies to a degree.
No, you know what? I just. Fuck.
You know what can I tell you one thing I didn't notice about you? I joke around calling you the chalk and everything like that, because you call yourself that, so I run with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But one thing I'll tell you this much is you are definitely a seeing is believing guy.
Definitely. That's what football is.
There's been so many players that I would bring up to you. You know what I mean? And you'd be like, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? And I have all these, supporting narratives or whatever the fuck I had. You know what I mean? But it was some of them will pan out. Some of them would be David Montgomery. You know what I mean? Some of them, you know what I mean? Some of them would be just the guys I'm religiously on, like the Green Bean or John Brown. But how about this? I love the Green Bean, first of all.
Yes, you do. I know that.
He really came through this year.
He did all right. He wasn't special.
Did he get his 1,000?
I would be willing to say he didn't.
Yeah, I don't think he did either.
I would be, but